Yo, yo.
Welcome back, Wooly. I'm glad to have you back in the country. I hope you had a nice trip.
I did have a nice trip. Thank you.
Whoa, what's up? Oh, did I freeze immediately? That's hilarious.
Immediately.
Immediately. That's hilarious.
Straight away without delaying.
Oh, that's so fun. That's great.
The timing is getting funnier by every episode. And yeah. Okay. All right.
Why does this only happen with you and only with this specific video call?
It really baffles the mind, and it's not the kind of thing that's so aggressive that I'm like, throw it all out, burn it down.
Oh, right. Yeah, but like I've been having Discord calls all week for hours.
Yeah.
And not even a blip.
No, I know. It's bad. And I do calls on this as well, and they're fine. It's literally just this one. It's kind of incredible.
The Trans-Canadian Pipeline somewhere.
It's not such a big deal that I'm like, burn it all down. But at this point, after this much repetition, I guess it's burn it all down.
Hey, hold on. I'm going to disconnect and reconnect in like a second.
Okay.
And we'll see if that helps.
I mean, death by a million cuts. It's it's just becoming.
Did that work? Am I back?
Not visually. Just.
Oh, that's great.
You know, it's kind of incredible.
No, that's wild.
Yeah. When I.
Time to look into Teams.
Just for this one, huh?
Yeah. Whoa.
I guess so, man. All right, here's my
Hold on, let me get the gun to put in my mouth.
All right, here's my turn.
Here's your...
Boy. It's literally only with Pat. It's so weird. Okay, all right. Enough of this. What is this? A solid 4 weeks straight or so? I don't know. God, we got to get on Slack maybe. Ugh. I really hope not. Man. Is
Hello.
Is Slack the solution?
Did you like restart your computer in that time?
No, I just whenever that happens it's because I'm quitting out of Discord and restarting it. That's basically the
Oh, right.
So, yeah. It might just be. The answer might just be Slack.
Slack. Oh, I'm back. Hey, everyone.
Yeah. Teams, Skype.
So, it worked fine when you exited out and came back, but not when I exited out and came back.
Mm-hmm. So it's Discord on this side. Yeah.
What does that mean? What does that mean?
Fucking the Montreal to Vancouver hate connection,
like in that direction specifically.
it's full of spite and ire. It knows who it's connecting to. Anyway.
Oh my god.
All right.
So how was your trip?
It was a lot of fun. Thank you very much. Yeah, I'm all right. I think I managed to defeat any major jet lag by staggering my naps,
It's a lot easier now that we're older and we can just decide to go to sleep at any time because we're just old and tired now.
Yeah, and I usually ignore my body on a regular day. So all I had to do was not ignore my body, and then turns out my sleep calendar is reset. So not too bad.
I was hanging out with the baby the other night in the middle of the afternoon. It was like 2 p.m. and I was like, hey, the baby's on my lap, and I'm looking at him. I'm like, I could just close my eyes and decide to go to sleep right now. And that would be wildly irresponsible and dangerous.
Don't do it.
But it would also be very comfy.
It is there. It is an option. It's not a good option, but it is an option on the list. Yeah, no, it was great, man. I mean, a week is obviously not, it's not enough time to do and see most of everything, but it certainly was enough for just, scratching at some of the curiosities I had and getting up to, seeing enough of the history and getting a different look at the difference between the main city life and the island life, and enough museum and history stuff and everything to get a full picture of the place. And yeah, it was great, man.
Did a Greek guy come up to you and go, "This is where we invented society"? And you're like,
Democratia. Yes. Yes. No, I mean, so that always that's my friend's parents here back in Canada, actually. And like, yeah, there's a lot of Greek people in Montreal in particular. It's a spot. Like I said, I grew up in high school with a fuck ton of Peters and Dimitris and Costas and all the crew, and they'd LRE their way through every morning. So we got to I got that's where I was introduced to a lot of it. What was cool was the long locked alphabet that I had learned from that one summer Greek class I took in college. Like,
oh really?
That was unlocked. I was like, oh shit, I still have that. That's cool. I can read Greek signs and Greek letters and pronounce them, and I have no idea what I'm saying. I don't know what it means, but I'm looking and I'm like, okay, I can contextually put together this, and if the word sounds vaguely similar to something English, and I'd be like, oh, yes, okay.
Maybe.
Right. There's a couple of like quick, because I'm like, I remember a couple of quick rules that you kind of come up with. The thing that looks like a P is not a P. That's actually an R. But the thing that looks like a lowercase r is actually a P. It's a pi. And then,
Too hard. I can't learn that. Learning is done for me. It might be done for you. You actually learned these way back, come to think of it.
I know. It's still in there. It's still in there. And it is kind of interesting to look and see like the word souvlaki and kind of go like, oh, like, kind of like this is another language where V's and B's kind of come together because it's spelt out with souvlaki, so anyways, it's kind of dope, and you feel like it's stupid because in some ways I'm like, when I sound out a sign when we drive by it or something, I'm like da 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 da, and I sound it out. I'm like, oh cool, okay, I read that, and then
I was like, what does it say?
Well, no. So sometimes it sounds similar-ish to something. Like literally, I sounded it like Pandora, and it was like, it was just like sure, okay, but the thing is that like you do that, and then you're like, oh, it's like if I was reading Spanish or another language that is already using letters I recognize, then I'd be able to do the same thing. But because there's that extra step, you feel a little extra special about it.
Yeah.
But
I'll encounter Spanish. It's like, I don't speak Spanish, but I can ballpark a couple words because I speak French.
Yeah,
related languages.
Every time I see a theta and I the little circle with the line in it, and I'm like, oh, that's the th. That feels like I'm doing some work. But anyway, it was that was rad. And the compressed week was more or less like the first leg of the trip was landing in Athens, and that's where I got to say shout outs to Tassos and Matt, the folks that were out at the Tekken World Tour event that was happening out there. It's there's a little kind of con, like mixed game and some music and various kind of whatever miscellaneous entertainment stuff to get together events. The Gamers Lounge Hype Festival. Went out to that, had a small meetup, met some people, got some games of Tekken, and walked over to this again little bracket they had running, and I saw KDZ, who is like an American player that I know from various other events. I was like, what the fuck are you doing in Greece, bro?
I mentioned you putting that out there. Like, I went halfway across the world and ran and walked into a room, and there he is running sets.
It was like, what the fuck? Like, actually what, He's like, yeah, what's up? They were like, oh, yeah, let's play. Okay, we played some games, and it's like, what the fuck's going on? And it just, he happened to be like with his family on a cruise, like going past this side of the world at the same time. So hey, look at that. We're in the same area. We've been looked up.
I gotta get off this cruise and play some goddamn matches.
There you go. Exactly. So yeah, that was a fun, unexpected encounter. Got some good games in over there. And then Tassos and Matt took me out to one of their favorite souvlaki spots and got some good eats in there. Got some good like deep fried saganaki and feta and just the full spread and incredible foods. a real good time was had. So shout outs to them, and as well, like yeah, running the little FGC scene out there, and I want to say Tassos also has his channel. Is it Legacy of Kaiser? I believe. So little FGC channel doing like Guilty Gear. I think some horny videos are so. I believe. So anyway, cool stuff. Shout outs to them, and I appreciate the hospitality. Genuinely good folks and good hangs. Sipping on Uzo was a thing that did happen. We it's one of the traditional like alcohols. You throw some ice in there and then let it melt and then kind of sip it over time. And it's very licorice flavored. It's yeah. So that's the thing. It's a classic traditional drink, very licorice flavored. Might not be everybody's cup of tea, but like I'm okay with it. But my eyes were opened before the trip was over to a different old liqueur called Mastiha, and it is just yeah, it's Greek liqueur, and it's hard to describe because like there's almost like there's very little distinct flavor to it except for the light burn of the alcohol and a sweetness.
Right.
You know? And
is it like living in its own aftertaste?
It really is, and it's very pleasant, and it's just like vanilla enough that the moment you sip it, it's like almost like a welcome drink, right? But like the first thing you're like, oh, this would work amazingly in cocktails, you know? Yeah. And like, yeah, so I'm like, can you mix this into something? And they're like, yeah, sure, we can do like a Greek mojito using it and stuff. But yeah, Mastiha or Mastika is my new favorite. That thing's incredible, and I bought a fucking bottle back with me of that. It is an aperitif, and it is sippable or mixable, and it's the ones where you look and you're like, wow, that's so sweet and nice and goes down easy. What the 40%, huh? Okay, cool. Yeah, you know, just deceptively smooth tasting for the percentage, but wonderful stuff. If the particular brand I was recommended was Skinos, if you do decide to partake. Yeah, so spent that first leg of the trip hanging out, meeting those folks. Then the next couple days we're doing the museum stuff. So went to the Acropolis, the Parthenon, you know, got to see the museums and like the big collection of all the, you know, the old statues and everything traditional. It was also cool listening to there's like a walking tour kind of podcast guide that you can play while going through it and stuff. If anyone does, I would recommend, what was his name? The Rick Steves audio guide, if anything. It's a free little MP3 thing, and when you get to a museum, you click play, and then it just kind of like you walk through it. And yeah, it's cool to see, you know, the big stuff that I learned in art history class in person, and to, you know, take it all in its full, you know, depth, and seeing it over the ages and such. But it gets really wild when you kind of go further and back in time, and like there's like, okay, there's learning about the modern history, which is like literally the Nazis marching up to the Acropolis and like the crazy shit that happened when that when that went down. And then there's going a little bit further back in time to like 1821 when they got rid of the Ottomans, who were like running the country for a couple centuries, you know, and like Greek got its independence. And then you go back to the ancient Greek times that, like, you know, you kind of know about and learn about and such. But like when you go to some areas, you're getting into like Minoan and Mycenaean like ruins and relics, and you're looking at like places that are like, here's a city that is from like 1600 BC, and that's the stuff where it gets really trippy to be looking at, like stuff like if you're like, yeah, if you're going like, wow, think about how old how long ago like Jesus was around. Now this was the stuff that was that long ago to him, you know.
There's I was watching somebody talk about this. where the new and the old world have like wild differences in perspective, in that like we don't understand how old things are because nothing here is old.
Mm-hmm.
And people out in Europe don't understand what it means for something to be far away.
Yep.
Because all of their neighboring nations are in a place that you could conceivably bike to.
Yep. It's all right there, built on top of each other. And for us, the concept of like, oh yeah, this is an old place established 1901.
Crazy.
Like, what? You mean it opened up last week? What are we talking about? Yeah.
Apparently there's a tour guide walking around in Rome, rolling his eyes during the tour, describing certain towers as ugh 15th century additions.
That's insane.
Ugh.
Oh man, wow.
Look at this new shit. Ugh.
Jesus Christ. No, it was incredible because and
just put me back on Sele.
There you go. It was incredible because, well, at some point you're gonna get auto kicked when it.
Oh, that's fine. I'll just my mouth.
When it yeah, when you're looking at the progression and stuff, and you're going back to like yo, look at this bowl. Like, it's one thing to see the posture of the statues change from being straightforward with a smile into dynamic and brooding because ain't shit to be happy about in this new era, right? And like the anatomy gets more and more detailed and dynamic and things like that. And like these are all like big changes you can see, but there's an era where it's just like, holy shit, is that a pot? That's fucking incredible. This pot is so old you can't even fathom.
You put things in this.
Oh
my god, we don't have to just keep our water on the floor.
What a wild concept, you know? Yeah. So it was fun to go through a lot of that.
Have you ever seen the YouTube channel called Primitive Technology?
Oh yeah, for sure.
It's like he's continuing to just, like, for our perspective, he is slowly advancing through various building techniques, but like he's on a speed run of like 200,000 years.
I mean, and just awesome concept too, where it's like, okay, so you buy the land that you're gonna build the shit on, and then doing it makes the videos that makes the money for you to further conserve and buy land to build shit on. And then there's like the copycat channels that are walking through this random, fake as fuck, walking through the forest, digging holes and filling them with water.
I'm literally looking at building a primitive house with the most beautiful around bamboo swimming pool. And this is the fucking thumbnail for it. And I'm like, that's a consumer grade swimming pool.
Yep. No, there's super fake, dumb fucking sites out there. And the worst part is that what they do is like, what if in some shots they zoom out far enough that you can see like the tire tracks and the, you know, and then they fill it up with water. They pretend they're pouring it by hand, and then they leave it there, and then they walk away, and then it just becomes a fucking moss swamp bug nest that ruins the local environment because they're assholes that are trying to crib on the primitive technology thing. It sucks. It's shitty. Like, if you're gonna do that, at least fucking tear it down so that it doesn't have a lasting negative effect, man.
No, I'm gonna create a fucking swamp pit that's gonna breed attacks. There was when we were looking for places out in BC, there was a specific moment where somebody described like, oh well, this place looks nice, and we're like, oh, does it? And then we were then told, by the way, you know that adorable little lake that's next door that looks incredible in photos? Yeah. That's the province's biggest spot for creating mosquitoes. Is right next to this house listing.
Oh God.
So in the summertime, it is like dangerous to be outside near the lake.
Just Shino throwing his bug attacks out at you.
But it looks great in the realtor photo.
Yeah. Oh man. That I mean, there's no cost. There's just zero. That is a yeah. Anyway, wildly and interestingly, out in the sweltering heat, because yeah, obviously your Greece gets very hot. No
Out of Greece. That's
mosquitoes.
why the guys don't wear any clothes.
No mosquitoes. Didn't get,
Yeah.
and like I had multiple moments of being out there, being like, how are we not getting attacked by mosquitoes right now?
Yeah, mosquitoes have gone down a lot lately.
Huh?
Everywhere.
I was like,
And you can decide whether or not that worries you or not.
that is concerning, but my hopes is that it's the season, and it just happens to not be the season where they're breeding or whatever. But we were like pretty much fine, like all things considered. The one of the Athens days. So, and this is one of the big recommendations I would have to anybody that is interested in checking out Greece or so, is there's some day trip reachable places that you can drive to and make it back to town within the same day. It's like you get like an 8-hour day, But what we did was basically we got. I wanted to check out a bunch of locations, and I wanted to do so in a timely fashion. And we found out that you can basically get a driver to be like, yo, you can sit in the air-conditioned car, and we can drive to these spots, and I know exactly how much time these museums are going to take, and I know exactly how much time to spend to get, like, a list of 20 or so places in. And it's really, and it was like, I was like, that sounds like a lot, but it flows really well because the dude who's also like Yorgos, shout out, he was pretty like awesome because he was also knowledgeable about everything that we were going by. So like as you're going to the place, he's telling you about what's going on historically, and then you get there and like check it out.
I hear though they have those types of tours in Brazil too. You get off the plane and you walk up to a guy who says he knows all the good spots, and you're like, absolutely.
You know what? I'm sure every country probably has things like that. But in this case, it was a very legit service.
It depends where you go, because it's the same service in every country, and it's just like, use that one, it's good.
Okay,
or don't use that one.
Well, yes, and knowing as well that like there's a lot of potential to be scammed in Greece. That's one of the countries where a lot of that can happen. Google reviews and Yelp are your friend. I just checked the reviews on everything I signed up for, and I checked the like Reddit comments for people talking about what they would recommend, and just did some research. Most of the things most of the things I looked into, almost everything I didn't. I improvised some days, but most of the things I signed up for and whatnot, I just looked into to make sure. I'm like, is this legit? Yeah, it is. Okay, cool. And that worked out. So I encourage folks to do that. But what we got was the ability to go check out this really awesome old city, the old capital called Nafplio, which was like, waterside, just old style, like very old Montreal style kind of vibe. Which it's interesting because if you know like Montreal to some degree, like the most European ass city in North America, so you kind of see you're used to that sort of like cobblestone street, old building kind of look of things. But then it leads up a wall to a giant sanctuary, like fort that is like, again, infinity old and has an incredible view, and all that stuff. So one thing that was cool to know that I was like listing the right places was every time I was like talking to people from Greece about where I was going, people were like, okay, no, that place is good, right? Like there's the don't fuck with that, we hate that shit, and then there's like, oh yeah, okay, good call, a little bit off the beaten path on that, but that's a good place, or places where they go on vacation themselves or go to check out, so yeah, Nafplio was one of them. And then went to the islands, and specifically to Paros, which is so like of all the different islands, there's Mykonos, which is the don't go, fuck that, this is just a tourism nightmare hellscape of an island that no longer resembles anything that like people
Why
that
does
actually live in
name
Greece.
sound so familiar?
I mean, it's a very popular name for a destination in
Is
Greece.
that where goddamn ABBA, Mamma Mia?
I don't know.
Might be.
I don't know. But Mykonos is it's 100% tourismville, and you're getting ridiculous prices and ridiculous just the least potential authentic experience ever. Then secondary to that is Santorini, which is that same experience but lessened, but at the same time it's built around it's a caldera, which is like a sunken volcano.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a really cool view because basically thousands of years ago a volcano erupted, built this giant like island formation, and then the middle of it collapsed underwater, and it created essentially like a donut shape with then like a middle volcanic island, and like everything that is built is facing the center, and the sun sets perfectly down the middle of that. So like it's very, very beautiful to catch. And so there's a bit of a like, yeah, you want to go there and you want to catch that regardless of the tourism, because that's still a really incredible, beautiful view. And I agree with that. It was very nice, but I just went for one day and I could see a lot of the chaos, and yeah, there's a you got to do your sort of, I guess, tourism overpriced nonsense kind of experience balanced with like, I'm in here to see this historic place or this historic view and then get out, which we managed to do.
Mm-hmm.
It was hilarious though, getting off the ferry and seeing a sign with like a dude holding a sign up that said like cheapest taxi prices, come here, and he's like beckoning people coming off the boat over, and right next to him is another dude with a sign saying cheapest prices down, way down that way, go 50 meters down, and like literally he's like, no, keep going, and the guy next to him is like, no, come here. And like they're having a battle, like all these two dudes do all day is just fight right next to each other, and he's like, you, looking at you, I'm looking at you, come here, look, come this way, and the guy's like, no, don't listen, keep going that way.
And here's the question: is who has the cheapest taxi prices?
You don't know. That's the thought, right? I'm sure that is the question. None of the prices are listed, of course.
Fuck no.
I'm sure you have to get in and find out.
In a fucking haggle society, why would you list the price?
But just the wildness of that, like, right away you're like, okay, that sets the tone. I know where I am. On Paros, the other island I was at, which is again gorgeous, really nice place to stay. It's like you're not gonna get like you can Uber in Athens, you can Uber even in Santorini. You can't really Uber on the smaller islands, so that's where you're like, okay, I'm at the mercy of the taxis. There's a lot of those people around, and this is where you can get scammed and stuff, so I'm a little bit more like wary and such. And there's a lot of dudes that are just like, I'm a taxi driver, but I'm also like whatever you need on the small island, here's my card, call me for whatever purpose. And and like so yeah, there was a dude who's like, yeah, do you need a ride up to whatever? And I was like, okay, yeah, sure, let's take it. And he's like, oh, showing the like, here's what the car looks like, and here's everything's valid, etc. And I was like, okay, but I know you're out here soliciting, and there's probably going to be something sketch to this, so let me just keep my head up and see where it is and what's going on with it. And I'm okay to get scammed when I know my options are limited and I understand the nature of what it is, right? So, in other words, the scam in this case was, I'm going to drive you by like my friend's restaurant and be like, later on today, you should go eat here. It's a really good place.
Not a scam? That's just like good business.
Yeah, but it's just like, okay, you're going to take the route that is going to go by certain places and be like, go here, go there, this beach actually, and kind of like, I'm like, all right, that's your bit, that's fine. I have no issue with that. it's not a like pulling into a sketchy place and weird people are showing, you know what I mean? Nothing like that, right? It was just like, all right, your whole bit is essentially you're gonna get me to the destination, but we're gonna take the scenic route as we go past the places where you probably get a cut. You know, I understand the nature of that. That's fine. I thank you. We get to our location, no problem. And yeah, and then the actual place we stay, of course, like having a really cool manager of the rental room was like, okay, here's all the places you should go. Here's what I suggest you should check out. This is really good food. This place is this guy's grandma's house that they just make home food every day, and you could just go get some of that if you'd like. And I'm like, if you want to get a really legit experience, that's really cool. This place right next to that, don't fuck with that place. Never go there. They don't do it. You know? And we're like, really? What's the deal? And then like, yeah, sure enough, you go on Google Maps and you look and you're like, oh yeah, this is where like they have a price listed, but then the price has like an asterisk, and the asterisk says, you know, for a kilogram or whatever, so you don't get the real price until the bill comes out. And even when the bill comes out, it might not be the real bill, and 15 layers of dirt and bullshit, awful photos of like non-meals.
One of the first things that I just popped in while you started, like right as you were like talking about starting your trip, I'm like, I just need to double check. Is Greece a haggle country? It is.
It
is a haggling country.
Yeah, if you're doing...
As such, all prices are vague, approximate suggestions.
I didn't do a ton of shopping, so there wasn't much a haggling to do. I was kind of there for the experience mostly and the fucking food. But it's like...
Food can be haggled.
It can be haggled. This is true. But this place I'm describing, like the you know, the finishing touch on all of the scams is, you know it because they're blasting music so loud that you can't think. So if you're going to get into a screaming match arguing over anything, no one can hear that you're getting into a screaming match. Anyone who gets upset at the service, it's like the table right next to him can't fucking, and you got to yell your order anyways.
You trying to hurt my feelings because I can't understand you at all.
You know, like we're all talking at this volume. So are you mad or you just try to order a drink? I don't know. Incredible, you know. Yeah, so there's again, check your reviews and you know, and organized by priority. When I was picking where to stay, my number one priority was air conditioning, because there's tons of places that were like, this place has an incredible view, incredible everything, incredible service. Air conditioning,
leave the room.
Air conditioning doesn't fucking work. You're just gonna sit there and die at nighttime, you know. So all that is great. Encountered a really nice little Lukumades spot, which is essentially Greek Timbits is the best way to describe them. They're like,
I never thought I'd hear those words next to each other in my life.
Yeah, they're beignets. They're little donuts, and then you put some white chocolate and then honey and drizzle all over them, and fucking incredible. They're you know, straight out of the fryer, glazed in a million sweet things, and just super good. But it's a glorified Timbit, traditional. Those are great. And yeah, we kind of wandered through some streets, and it's really interesting to wander through, you know, Cammy's level in Street Fighter Alpha 3. That you just kind of wander through that. Just everything is the, you know, cobblestone street, the white buildings, the roofs, and just, you know, beautiful beach view, that type of thing. A lot of the island cities are kind of like that, and the difference between a side street where people live and a main street where it's all business is just the crowd on it. So we kind of wandered around a little bit, just to get a feel for it, and had one or two moments of like someone kind of wandering by going like, hey, where are you looking to go? Because here, not so pretty. You want to probably go back that way. And it's like, oh, is it like a danger thing, or like a, you know, like just a tourism thing? And the guy was just kind of like, this way. You know, it was like, Okay, fine. And but because like the places that, or he's like going saying don't go, I'm like, but that's a beautiful alleyway with flowers literally like being like, fall petals off the tree onto the ground. Also cats running around having fun because
Yeah.
the entire nation is run by cats. It's crazy.
It's
They're
just one of those places. Got it.
everywhere at all times. You're gonna see a couple dogs, nonstop cats. And it's fun. What's fun too is like a lot of them are just kind of like.
Correctly, the dogs and cats there can use public transit.
I don't know if it was. When I heard about that, I don't think it was Greece. I remember that being.
Another Russian dogs can use public transit.
I remember the Russian one. That's what I remember seeing. Yeah. In this case, the cats are all kind of like town cats. They're street cats, but like they're taken care of by the town essentially, and like all the way to the point where when you go up to the Acropolis, the top, the fucking Parthenon at the top of the hill, there's cats laying in the shade there too, because people that work there are like taking care of them and stuff. So yeah, there's strays, but the strays are all kind of kept. And like they have names, and one of the restaurants we went to, all the cocktails were named after the cats around town.
Oh, that's adorable.
Yeah, super fun. Yeah, super fun. And Punch Mom is like, oh, like going up to kind of go for like a pet or go for a smell or such, and I'm just like, you fool, you absolute ignorant fool, to think they have any interest in you, a random person that's just another like tourist walking by, without food in your hand. How dare you? Because you approach them and they look at you like, get the fuck out of my way. What are you doing? No pets, leave me alone. Right? Pet it out.
Pet the fucking cat, Wooly.
But if you've got a little foil thing that's like a Lukumades container in your hand, or a souvlaki wrap in your hand, what's up? They come, they're all about that life. They super want that attention, but you got to have some shit in your hand. You got to have an offering. Just the absolute hubris to think you can approach with nothing but love and get any attention.
No, man, these are mercantile cats.
I mean,
you give, I give.
Well, that's it, right? Because you got to imagine that it's like any pet that's like, we have like a neighbor cat, for example, that absolutely loves people and loves the attention and loves pets. And it's an indoor cat. It's getting outside a little bit, not seeing a ton of people besides our neighbors. So, it's like, yeah, it loves the affection. But if you think about like a petting zoo, right? Like those animals are petted the fuck out. They're human the fuck out. They're not, they don't need any of that. But what you got in that bag though? What you eating? What's in there? Let's talk about that.
Reminds me of Funny Island.
Yeah.
Here, little rabbit.
Right?
Here, little rabbit.
Exactly.
No, nothing. But the sound of plastic rustling, here they come.
Eyes tingling red, right? Laser eyes. Ding! Like, absolutely. So, yeah, fucking cats everywhere. Bring offerings. We wandered around the corner into just a crowd going nuts, popping off, and we were just like, what's happening here? Flags were going, and we're like, I don't recognize that flag. And then like flares start popping off and like smoke, and it gets crazy, and drums are banging, and we're like, oh, what? Huh? And it's like, oh, the football team, right? Olympiakos FC are they're the first Greek team to like win a championship in forever, and like they're the best Greek team that got the cup. And so they were doing the tour of like, almost like when the Stanley Cup goes around, they brought the trophy over to Paros Island, and then everyone was able to go pose with the cup and take a picture, and it was essentially like, like the ultras, if you've heard about them. They're like
I've not.
It's like football fans in Europe. They have like the coordinated like fans that are like the ultras, which have their chants and their uniforms and their flares, and they go crazy. Exactly. And like they have to be let in separately through a side door, because if they clash with the other ultras, it's just gonna be a war. They're actually gonna get violent and nuts. But like, yeah, that level of like fandom and organization popping off, and we just wandered into that crowd. And that was super cool. I was like, oh shit, we just happened to be there for that. Caught some of that on camera as well. Yeah, just the full coordinated like war chants almost of the football teams, you know.
All that internalized European blood feudism just doesn't have anywhere to go anymore.
It's gotta be on the pitch. That's what it's for.
Come out somewhere.
Absolutely, it has to, and not just European, global, dude. It's literally just us. We're the only ones.
Yeah, it's just the new world.
We're the only ones that give no fucks. Everyone else gives a fuck, man. Oh. Anyways, I stand by my thought that I know that the tradition at this point, much like baseball, means a lot, but indoor soccer, I played that mode once in ISS, and it was like just smaller field, more goals, no out of bounds because the ball bounces off the wall and back into play, and that shit was awesome. And I felt like I was playing like the NBA Jam version of soccer, and I'm like, this is rad as shit. This should be the thing more. But anyway, that was what we did there. Yeah, and then pretty much that's more or less it, you know. So fucking cool time, good stuff. Shout outs to the
Greece, good or bad? Let's hear it.
Greece, great, very cool.
Oh, fantastic.
Very
still good.
Athens has a it's really interesting. Like, I didn't know that it had such a huge graffiti scene, and like there's tons of graffiti there, and like a lot of that is there's like street murals, and then there's like tagging, and like just a very developed thing from I mean, a lot of the European capitals have it as well, but like a lot of the stuff from like the financial crisis that happened a couple of years ago, and there's a whole you know, a lot of I think they had like the biggest like unemployment for like the youngest group of people for like a while there, so just a whole lot of like fuck the goddamn system rage that came out and went straight onto the walls, and it's really interesting to see that in contrast with, again, like old pillars just in the middle of downtown and stuff. I took a photo of an old it's an old like vase, and it looks authentic, but it's an old vase and it's literally just a garbage can. And it's near in the Plaka like Parthenon area, and it's like, yeah, we've got so much ancient history around. There's just corners of it happening casually over there. There's a little park with an indentation. You can go to, like, yeah, we're not like, there's a sign. This is an old pillar. It used to be something cool, but it's fine. Just go check. You know, no big deal.
It's so funny that you mentioned that, because as soon as you said garbage can, I'm like, you know, out here in the new world, we're making moves too. Just today, they unveiled in New York City that they're gonna have this new invention called a bin that you put your trash into, so you don't just throw your entire household or business's trash all over the fucking street.
No kidding.
In New York City for the rats.
That's what an invention. That's incredible.
Hey, we're getting there. We're getting there.
That's crazy. While I was there in Greece, though, there was news, like literally on the 1st of this month, they unveiled the new labor proposition that is the first EU country to enable the 6-day work week, or 2 extra hours on your 5-day work week. So that's awesome. Everyone's really excited about that.
I don't know if you remember, but there was a whole thing about Greece and how Greece did their money bad and then had no money.
Not great. That was a thing. It continues. It's the stuff's supposedly getting better, but there's issues. And work more now or yesterday, but do it is not awesome. So that happened literally while we were there. But yeah, no. All in all, fucking.
Meanwhile, you'd usually feel kind of bad as a tourist, except tourism is like Greece's like only primo like booming industry, and it always will be, because people want to go to Greece.
I mean, I don't know enough to say only, but I will say that it certainly is a humongous part, seeing as it's one.
You know what? I'm probably wrong, but I might not be, so I'll work off of that.
Well, it's a fucking storied ass ancient spot that like everyone, you know, it's like ancient history all points back to that shit. And like you've got like, you know, because you've got wars over the years of destruction of like, you know, destruction of knowledge and destruction of culture and stuff, of like we're conquering and we're blowing your shit up. But then you've got like Rome being like, okay, so we're taking over, but we're also huge fanboys. which is so wild, because it's like, imagine if we were like, imagine if North America like fought Japan now, and like you're like, okay, we're going to war and we're taking over, but everybody don't touch Akihabara. Like, okay, like huge weeaboos, you know what I mean? Like, you just like, it would be wild. But it's like, it's a little bit of that, of just like, okay, so, you know, we're in charge now and we're gonna put up some statue, but oh man, oh fuck, there's the arches, dude, you know. Like, wait, are you conquering, or what are we doing here? It's huge fanboys. So historically, that's been the case for a gorillion years, you know. So of course.
Okay, I'm not insane. I did pull the word gorillion from somewhere.
Yeah, that I want to say that
I said it the other day, and I was like, I didn't think of that. Where did that come from? And I couldn't put a finger on it.
I think it was a webcomic I read it from.
Possibly.
But anyway, yeah, no. So that's the deal. Is everybody, like, tourism has been happening since ancient Rome. Tourism to Greece, that is, like.
Well, I mean, to be fair, historical tourism was often done at the head of the army.
Of
so
course.
It's slightly differently.
Of course.
Slightly differently? That's wrong, Pat. Slightly different.
And then you can also go check out the changing of the guard, which you know, I mean, so like. I've talked about, like, I've seen videos of the India-Pakistan border will have like the changing of the guard, where it looks kind of like the Ministry of Silly Walks, essentially. Like, they'll do these really big, exaggerated kicks and like massive steps with the rifle flipping and stuff, and it's like, you know, we do, like, we're used to like what's the word for? There's a word for like essentially like soldiers in formation that do the gun flipping and the full.
Nerds?
That's not the word I was thinking of.
It is.
Right.
Admit it.
Anyway, dressage and that it turns out, so at the Tomb of the Unknown Soldier there, where they have every hour the guards come and they switch it up and they do these big exaggerated steps and everything. The reason for a lot of those exaggerated motions is because when you stand still for an hour and don't move, that's that's a really great way to get the blood passing back through your limbs, is to do these big Ministry of Silly Walks, kicks and steps and turns and putting your hand up and everything. So all those exaggerated motions are being fancy, but also it's fancy pageantry, but it's also doing stuff to get the blood flowing after,
like, that's
standing
why
still.
You know the British guards have the big stupid hats, right? Those guys. You ever notice that there's like a weirdly disproportionate amount of videos of them just like passing the fuck out on their feet, like just tipping right the fuck over?
Is that a thing? Yeah.
Yeah, it's because they have to stand still at attention in that big fucking hat. For hours. Yes,
the thing is the people who do the duty of learn how to do that, right? Like, you go through enough training to be able to stand there and take it, although the heat and such, I'm sure, eventually becomes unbearable. But it's always awesome whenever some tourist like crosses a line, leans too far forward or in, or steps over,
great. Yeah.
and like, it's like, motherfucker, I'm still a guard. I'm gonna beat your ass. Like, the fuck do you think you're doing? Like, there is a very instant snap to, this is all like taking the photo for the tourism, etc. But you kind of forget at a moment that, like, no, they will yell and grab you and toss your ass out when you act that way.
I am just thinking, it is possible that they're standing there and they are like, they like become aware of themselves for the first time in their lives and go, oh, I'm in England. And then their body attempts to die. It just attempts to just self-destruct and go, oh, fuck it.
There you go. You got it in there.
Thank you.
What's always hilarious and is just depressingly par for the course is going up to the Parthenon, walking around at any of these things, and a whistle blows because I look over and some dumb lady is stepping beyond the boundary to take her selfie at the ledge where the fucking pillar is. And they're like, get the fuck back behind the line, you idiot. And it's like, oh, well, okay, Jesus, chill out, whatever. And like at walking,
this shit is older than 10 Americas. Get away from it.
And walking further down the line, and just the people behind us, with accents from somewhere else. I'm not sure what country. We're just like, it's always the Americans, huh? And they're like, yep, it's always the Americans. And I was like, oh God, it's just. There's just, it's like you have.
I don't want to get into it. Because I don't want to say these things with my own mouth into this recording. But there are multiple different groups from a couple different countries that are known to be particularly bad travelers. The one I am very willing to speak about is Quebecers are terrible travelers.
If there's a general selfishness to your community, to your nation, to the way you were raised, if you're raised in a selfish culture, then you're going to give less fucks about everything happening around you, and you're going to be like, that barrier rule is just a suggestion. I want to get my photo. And so if they stop me, then they stop me, and everyone around is like, God, just can you not be you for 2 seconds?
This is probably wrong to feel, but I'm going to say it anyway. I recently saw a video of a gentleman who works at some United States national park, right? And he is on his phone, possibly on his break, taking video of tourists hopping the fence in front of some enormous gorge. And the fence is like, don't go over the railing. You could just fall and die. And people are taking like Instagram photos with like, like the back of your heel is on air.
Yep. 100%.
And I see that and I'm like, maybe the wind should do something for a change.
That's what I'm saying. I talked about when I went to, when I saw the fucking, the sneaker waves in Iceland and the fucking giant waterfall and people getting on the wet rocks beyond the fence barrier to take their selfies. And I'm like, man, who would feel bad? Who would feel bad if what is supposed to happen happened at this point? Is it really a tragedy to describe it?
Actually,
when you Darwin Award yourself out for a fucking selfie?
We talked about this.
Selfie side. Yeah.
We didn't come to this conclusion, but it just clicked in my head because you asked who would feel bad. And I'll tell you, the people who would feel bad are telling you that they would have done the same thing. Because in their minds, like, well, anybody could have made that mistake. And it's like, that's not true. That's not true. This is a conscious mistake decision.
I saw the complete opposite the other day. I saw a video of a dude with a fear of heights getting to a cliffside and like getting on his face and crawling to the edge and getting his fingers over and just barely being able to manage peeking.
You know what? I get it. I used to be terrified of heights. I used to be terrified, like knees shaking, scared of heights. But we went to Toronto on a trip to see family, and you go up in the CN Tower, and CN Tower has like the glass. And I'm like, well, I don't know when I'm like 10. Like, I don't know when I'm gonna be back in the CN Tower, and I'm gonna feel really stupid if I don't step on it. Mm-hmm. So I looked over it and then I ran across it as fast as I could because that's all I could handle.
Yeah. Tokyo Tower, right? Looking down, same thing. But, it's again, the difference between that versus let's jump on it to prove that it's what? like again, the guy who bashed himself against the fucking the guy who bashed himself against the wall in the skyscraper, like to prove what, man? Like, what is the, like, you get your little bit or you die. Like, what are the outcomes here?
we're talking about this, and I'm like filled with terror because I have a little boy, which means I'm gonna have to be the adult in the situation of like, don't touch the candle, it will burn you. Okay. Don't. You're moving towards the candle. Don't do it. Okay, I won't. Ow, my hand.
Yeah.
And like, I know that I'm gonna have to deal with that because what I'm just describing is my dad telling me not to touch a candle when I was 4 years old.
God, I love how like that never goes away. We just get bigger and start calling them intrusive thoughts.
You know that psych experiment where they leave you alone in a room and they're like, "Don't hit this button; it will shock you."
Right, yes.
And they just leave you there.
And then eventually,
dude, I don't think I would last even like 5 minutes. I think I would probably like push the button before they had left the room.
1,000,000%. Just out of sheer boredom, there's like dudes just mashing it like with the full fucking motion blur on the hand, like. Yeah.
Want to see how bad it'll shock. I gotta know.
Anyway, it's that the cringe aura of just every time I've been somewhere high and dangerous and it's fairly crowded, there's always that person, and it sucks. But anyway,
going to Japan and Paige explaining to me, because she had been there for a while, that she had overheard lots of people seeing any piece of garbage on the street, oh, foreigners
are here, Americans were
and
here.
So like she told me that, and I was like, oh, let me always carry a bag and just jam my Cokes in there. Oh my God,
feels terrible, man.
I don't want to be the negative stereotype for everyone. Like, because everybody has to worry about being the negative stereotype for their group, but what the group is, everyone else it's the whole group. Oh,
I hate it. Yeah, and I guess, and beyond that, went to one of the beaches and had a good time. And as I was walking to get a drink, just get flagged over by this couple, and they're like, "Hey, what's up? Where are you guys from?" You know, I was like, "Oh, Montreal." I'm like, "Oh, cool. We're from California." I'm like, "Oh, cool." I'm like, "Yeah." Originally from Texas, though. We're like, "Oh, yeah?" And he just points at the shorts. Bucky's. I had to ask. I'm like, oh
you know God.
You know it. So
Bucky's has a long arm.
Representing all the way around the world, doing it. And in the same vein though, like that's like, hey, okay, you see the beaver, you gotta fucking ask, you know. To which of course there was news that specific day too was a fire broke out and burnt the original Bucky's location, apparently, which was a tragedy, only to discover that actually across the street they built a bigger, larger, more fantastic Bucky's, and hopefully
more fireproof Bucky's.
And that original one was actually destined to be demolished, so it really was no big deal.
I guess it worked out then.
Yeah, everything was totally fine. You can't kill the beaver. Like, and I just love, just again, it's in brackets, Canadian who goes to Bucky's once.
It's got you, man. It's got its fingers in your heart.
But I was wearing a shirt, and a lady came up and pointed at my shirt and went like, I was wearing my Boss Coffee shirt, and the lady came up and pointed at my shirt and went like, "Oh, did you see him in concert?"
Fuck. Oh man.
I was like, huh? And she's like, yeah,
Holy
we were
shit.
supposed to go see the boss. I'm like, oh, are you from Jersey? And it's like, yeah. The Bruce Springsteen. Like, no, but hey, no, he's the boss. He's singing about the working man in Jersey. That's the thing. It's like, yeah, No, it's like just very brief little just talk about Bruce Springsteen on the fucking Parthenon. Like, no, lady, it's a coffee shirt, but that's cool, But it's just like, oh, did you go see him in concert? Anyway, that was a good time. Oh, and lastly, speaking of coffee, the way to do it, they have two styles there that you can get: Freddo cappuccino and Freddo espresso, and they're basically like a way to, it's like a cold brew, but like kind of done frothy and different and cold, and it's incredible. Just it's like, I like iced coffee. It's better than iced coffee, and it doesn't have the heart attack potential that an ice cap from Tim Hortons gives you. If you have an ice cap, those things are just heart attacks ready to go. And this is a better solution. And it was wild because like seconds after drinking it, I was like, oh, I've got energy, I'm good to go. So shout outs to Freddo espressos. Amazing. That powered it up. All right. Yeah, that's Greece. And you're
glad you had a great time, man. Oh no, I've lost my vision. No, wait, that's wrong. I haven't lost my vision.
All right, we can write it out. We can see what happens.
All right, we'll see. Is there anything else before you left that you want to talk about?
Not really. I don't think so.
Well, the only thing I can see, I was going through your videos, was that you beat Rolana.
Oh, yeah.
We haven't done a podcast in 2 weeks.
Yeah. That was cool. So we got to the Twin Moons, man. That was fucking... So it was really cool because, like, I mean, before her, you get the assistant manager, and then you get the assistant to the assistant manager.
Yeah.
Yeah. With the big magic greatsword. But yeah, it's cool to see like Carrion Knights like taken further in this context, and that's a fucking badass fight. That she does a level 3 super. There's nothing else to call that.
Yeah, there's a lot of that going on in that DLC. There's a lot of like, here comes the big one, and it's crazy.
But looking at it though, and it's like, oh, okay, this is a jump to time your jumps and you're good. I
timed the first two, and then I was like, I dodged it, and she slammed on the third time. Like, oh.
Because it says twin, so why would there be a third, right?
Yeah,
the bullshit. And there's so much like stagger for roll catching and like all that shit that like it knows how to annihilate you for playing it like Souls rolling, but
absolutely.
Jump evasion is still fairly lenient. Same thing for the big mausoleum fire thing, right? Like
the furnace giants.
Yeah,
furnace golems.
You jump over that giant footstep, and it's surprisingly lenient with the fire.
I should have used it more in the original or the base game. In this DLC, it's like, man, jumping is really powerful. Like. There's a Zuli episode on it where she describes like the way that the jump frames work.
Okay.
I mean, in many cases, it's better than rolling.
I jump a lot anyways because I have the jump attack talisman on, right? So not even defensively, but just as an offensive opening like salvo, I do a jumping R2. But it's incredible how much you're landing in the fire that's still around you, and you're not getting hit. So it's like great. Is it 50% better iframes than rolling? That's crazy.
But you're not fully invincible. Only your lower body.
Interesting.
So for anything that would be interacting with the bottom of your body, like every sweep or anything that would hit the ground, jumping is better. Just better. For things that are higher vertical... something like that, you're going to have to roll to some direction.
Now, Sekiro had that too, but Sekiro had a lot of anti-airs.
Yeah, and Sekiro also like codified that into its own rules and tutorialized it. Whereas Elden Ring's like, you can jump sometimes if you want.
Give it a shot. You don't know what this is. Yeah. And you know, I'm making my way through that, but just it is very fun as well to see the new weapon types entirely, like
they're great.
The
great katana is
that was cool.
The one you get on the floor, of that lake,
and it right, like hold for Ichimonji stance, right?
Yeah,
that's sick.
But like the first of all, it's like the Monster Hunter longsword moveset. Like
right,
straight up, it's the default combo. But on top of that, like the numbers on it are fucking stupid. Like I maxed it out and was hitting like 100 and something bleed per swing. I was bleeding regular enemies in 2 hits.
And then you put that new parry on it, and you've got a defensive option as well. You know, anything that didn't really have a real defensive option now does. You got the I like that the perfumer's like flask is like a style of weapon now. That's great, because originally the perfumers, you had to use consumables if you wanted to kind of be one, you know?
So unfortunately, while you were gone, they nerfed the perfume weapons.
Yeah.
Because there's a weapon art you could get where you would like spin around and like shoot the perfume everywhere.
Okay.
And you could angle your character while not locked on in such a way that every single tick of the perfume would hit in one spot directly in front of you, and it would just like one shot every boss in the entire DLC.
What did I miss? Holy shit. Okay.
And then they fixed that.
It was the reverse version of the Dogbite.
Yeah.
Okay.
It was Dogbite for you.
Dogbite for you. Yes. Okay. Damn.
So that DLC is pretty good. I actually did beat it before FF14 came out.
Okay.
And
I assumed
some generalized thoughts. One, it's really good. It is good enough that it feels like a sequel to Elden Ring rather than an expansion
at this many hours. Yeah, I'm sure.
Plot-wise, it is also like very much a sequel to Elden Ring. In that, like I feel like more happens and is discovered in that DLC than in the entirety of the base game.
Interesting. Even though it's taking place before the ending still. Yeah, interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because in terms of timing, it's taking place like 10 minutes before you go to the tree.
I'm always painfully aware of the fact that no matter where this goes or what happens, you're getting spit back out to go walk up to the tree.
You know? It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
The boss fights are nearly universally fantastic. They do a lot of really incredible things with the environment. So I don't know if I talked about this last time, but like Elden Ring was like a really big wide open space. Like a lot of it was a really big wide open space. And a lot of it was like kind of filler space, right? Like just like big to be big. Like I would refer to like Liurnia as like they wanted to have the visual of the Liurnian like valley with all the water, but there's very little actually in that middle part.
Okay, I somewhat disagree, but it's because my example of that is, again, Mortal Shell, which is big to be big and empty and worthless. And then there's Breath of the Wild, which is big, but there's a point of interest that you're drawn towards, and this is like splitting the difference between those, I suppose.
So the reason, so you're in thinking about Mortal Shell. I'm specifically comparing it to the DLC because the DLC is the start of From Software taking their environmental shortcut design, like wraparound shit that they have assigned to their dungeons and their bespoke levels to open world sections. It is extremely non-intuitive and out of the way to reach more than half of all locations in the DLC. when you were in Limgrave, you could go this way to go to Liurnia. You could go that way to go to Caelid. When you got to Liurnia, you would go up this path to get into Altus, or you took the elevator, right? That kind of thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
The Shadow of the Erdtree DLC has like half of all of its levels are shown to you to some degree in a way in which there is absolutely no point A to B visible from anywhere you are. You can look off a cliff and go, oh, there's an area down there. How the fuck do I get down there? I don't know. I'll just have to figure out some nonsense in either a level or a very unclear environment. And so, like, finding all the areas in the DLC by itself is really exciting, because every time you find a new zone, say for Gravesite Plains and like the Shadowkeep itself, you're just like, I figured it out. I went through 4 caves and then fell off a cliff backwards, and then a bird picked me up and flew me over here to find this weird little spot that opens up this area.
And as long as you touch Grace, like you've got it. Yeah. I mean, that is different with like unlocking like you can't really shortcut porn the overworld, right? Because of that concept. Like you just go to Grace wherever you want to.
Right. So instead, it's like, how do I get there? And the way that you get there is in many cases very weird and counterintuitive. And most of them feel outright hidden. Like the main, like the mandatory like through line from Gravesite to the area after Renala to the semi-final area, that like the ones that you have to go in a straight line to get to the final boss. Those are, you can see them. You go from here to here to here, and you can, the path is very clear. Everything else is some kind of nonsense.
So kind of like the plateau on top of the Liurnia area where you can't get up to it until way later. Where
Ronnie's place.
Ronnie's spot, right?
Okay, not that extreme, because that's like a 7-zone detour.
It takes so long to clear that out on the map.
Yeah, it's closer to that than it is the regular areas of the game. And it makes it super exciting. On top of that, because all of these like zones are being treated as like levels instead of just open areas, there's a lot that they get to use as being mostly empty, but just for scale. Like this 10-kilometer sized area exists nearly entirely so that you can crest this ridge and see it.
Okay.
The way that they want it to be seen, and for you to focus on the thing that's in the center.
Okay. Like,
and do it and leave.
Like Radon Beach.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
There's at least one zone that is a new type of zone for Elden Ring. Like its core gameplay is completely different.
Okay.
There are zones that are behind other hidden zones.
Naturally.
It's fucking great. As for difficulty, I'm sure you heard that people were saying it was too hard.
Yes.
Yes. The DLC is way too hard. So I beat all of it. And there's 2 things to say. There's one boss that was bugged. That was actually bugged and was way, way, way harder than they had to be because they were bugged. Basically, I'm sure you noticed that enemies in the DLC will just sprint at you coming through the door. They're on you. They don't give you your time to fucking buff up or summon.
The shadow assholes in the first Legacy dungeon on site come right at you.
They'll come right at you. There was one that when you started, like when you died the first time and you go in for the rematch, they spawned in closer to the door than they started on.
Okay.
The first time, and so they could actually like hit you coming through the door.
Okay.
Like it's on.
Okay. Yeah.
And the second one is the final boss. There was an interview where they said, we believe we have pushed players to the brink of what is like reasonable to assume, or some weird phrasing like that. And Kai Cenat spent 70 hours on that final boss, and everybody was having a big trouble with it.
With a therapist or some shit?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they probably went too far on it.
Okay.
It is definitely the hardest thing that From Software has ever put into their games.
Interesting. Okay.
It is definitely, it is tougher than Orphan. It is tougher than Sword Saint.
Man. Designing for the challenge speedrun Guitar Hero clearing community.
I mean, those people have already done it because they're freaks.
Of course.
It is extreme. Like,
okay.
it feels like, wow, this is insane, but I think it's doable. And then you get to phase 2, and then it becomes, I don't know how I'm supposed to do this because I can't see anything. And that's the problem.
And this is including like your, well, you know what I mean? I don't know. Like, because in each of these cases, and with the entirety of the like DLC difficulty discussion, my brain is always going, well, are we talking about self-imposed one-on-one? Are we talking about with plot summon? Are we talking about plus ashes? There's a difficulty like modifier at every door, right?
So the final boss does have plot summons that you can summon for it, and it does have the ability to summon your spirit ashes, but the final boss has so much HP that when you summon on top of that,
it multiplies.
You get a final boss that has a crazy amount of HP.
Mm-hmm.
And it feels like I ended up beating it with Mimic Tier because of course I did. But like it's a lot. Some people it'll be easier for them to not. But the biggest problem is the visibility. The boss has tons and tons and tons of effects going off in the fight. It's really bombastic.
Okay.
It's really cool. It's hard to see the boss.
Okay.
And like that's where I feel like half of its total difficulty comes from. And like that, so I walked away with it like that was too much. If they toned, like if you like modded it to like tone down the visual effects, that boss would no longer be the toughest From Software had ever made. It would go back to being like Orphan or Sword Saint.
I see. Okay. Yeah,
I foresee a nerf incoming on that. Like by within a couple of months.
I mean, Gene was saying that like they've already been nerfing stuff from the review build, right? So
yeah, but at the same time, they actually buffed the final boss from the review build. The review build did not apparently have a finished version because some of their attacks just didn't exist in the review build.
Okay. And not that I don't know, I've never done it in the original, but like there's still traditional soul summoning, right? Like Statue of Marika to online summoning even.
Really?
Yeah, so like even there is a third layer of difficulty mitigation should anyone desire it. But I don't know if it's
that boss tears summons up real bad.
I don't know if it's at the point though where like anyone you summon outside of a boss door at this point in Elden Ring is just gonna one shot it, crush it while you stare back. You know?
Yeah, I don't think this is gonna happen with this one. Like this is like the first time that I've been like, yeah, they should probably tone this one down.
Really interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Huh. You're
like it's out of pace with its own game.
Like,
right?
Yeah, so because like when you look back on these moments, it's gonna be a tale based on like we have to one up ourselves because everyone knows our tricks.
Yeah,
we have to take the person who has mastered all of our tricks and give them a new thing to struggle with, and that's going to enter the realm of the ridiculous. And then we're gonna get an interview where Miyazaki's like, "Oh yeah, I don't know. I don't even play these things, man. It's too hard for me."
Interview.
Like,
He did that interview
yeah,
like a couple months ago.
exactly. Just like, what the fuck, dude? Like, you don't even touch it yourself, and you're still, yeah.
He was like, I normally play my games, but I went through Elden Ring and I used my knowledge as its designer to use every dirty trick in the book to beat the game.
I mean, I'm still walking. You're walking up to bushes, and then a dog jumps out, and I'm like, yeah, we're still doing this. Like, that's the same old. Nothing changes there, but I'm curious about new types of things though. That's interesting. Okay.
Yeah, there's a lot of really great stuff in there.
Cool.
A plus.
I love the moveset, but I don't know if I can swing around a sword called Milady. I don't know that I can do it. I can't. But light great sword's pretty cool.
Well, Rolana's weapon is
the
twins. Light great sword.
Yeah. That's a tough choice though, man. Because
you don't have to make that choice. Just go duplicate it.
Well, I didn't find a mausoleum yet, so yeah.
Oh, the ones in the base game still work.
I think I used them all.
Oh, you really?
I think so. I think once I got to the end of the game, I went, oh well, time to go get me the extra weapons I wanted.
Oh, okay. Well, there's a couple in the DLC.
Okay.
For duplicating.
I mean, I'm much more. I have high int anyway, so I like the fucking Twin Moon spell is way more. Better for my build. But anyway, cool.
But excellent, incredible DLC. A plus. Probably should tone down that final boss.
Okay.
It didn't take me that long. It took me about 2.5 hours. But some builds are gonna get wrecked by that boss. Like, the other thing is that boss is not build agnostic. Okay. Like, if you are like a caster, like, good luck.
Yeah. I mean, we'll see, because I can skate and punch, or I can toss rocks. I can do a couple different things, and I just go with whatever feels fun at the time. But cool. One other thing I did do while in Greece, actually. I checked out that Zenless Zone Zero demo. So, like, just the first level that like.
Wait, when you say demo, you just mean the game, right?
So it's the game, but when you download it, it first downloads a demo, and then it goes, do you want to get the full one? But like, there's 2 stages of download. It's an odd thing.
That's fascinating, actually.
Yeah, it's interesting. There's 2 stages of download. The first download you do is just the first level and like tutorial kind of thing, and then after that you can get the rest for the full thing. Just checked it out just to see what's going on. Obviously, you're sitting back and you're watching that production value go, and like music and characters and cutscenes. It's
really going.
It's going stylish, man. Shit's moving.
The animation they have going on with it, with all the actual gameplay, but also the cutscenes they have, is really really stellar.
I felt similar to when I was playing Samurai Remnant, where you're just like, you're watching the money go, and you're like, okay, I'll get my hands on some gameplay eventually, but it's really about the everything juicing in between those gameplay moments.
The tutorial is really long.
So from a glance, it seems like the combat reminiscent of the layers you get with so I haven't played Genshin, so I don't have that as my reference point.
Oh, that's fine.
But I would say, when I was talking about Relink the other day, right, where it's like, okay, gonna need to see where else the mechanics go, but basic combo, basic dodge, then hot tag, and then special supers that link into each other and stuff. I guess I'm gonna continue. I'm curious about the style and everything of the game, so I want to keep going and see how these characters all feel and everything to it. But I'm not expecting combat to get particularly open at any point. It feels like it's probably going to be very limited and simple.
The basic deal that I'm a little further than you are is that it is characters aren't characters, they're weapons.
Yeah, that's the relink. Yeah.
And there's a roguelike mode that I have not unlocked yet. But it is very similar to Genshin or Honkai in terms of like the amount of options you have and how like a lot of any particular character's depth depends on how you equip them and what that changes about the properties of their moveset rather than their moveset.
Okay. Do you get more than the basic combo, the special ability, and the dodge?
Depends. More expensive characters have more going on.
Okay.
So I got there. You always get a guaranteed S rank, and I got the Wolfman, Von Lycaon or whatever. That he has chargeable normals. So every single hit in his basic combo can be charged.
Okay.
Apparently there are hidden mechanics on some of the characters. Like Nicole, the girl with the briefcase, has like a 360. But in general, like your S ranks will have more mechanics than your A ranks, but you're not gonna get off of attack, dash attack, dodge attack, special, bigger special, ultimate. But I have been playing with Vaughn and Korin and Sukaku, and they do interact in interesting ways. And the parry does feel really, really, really good.
Cool. Okay. Because yeah, I guess there is a style of action game that, like where instead of paying attention to like what you're doing, it's essentially just wail on the auto combo and then keep an eye out for a defensive movement every once in a while.
Yeah, pay more attention to the enemy than yourself.
Yes, which is, that's fine. It's a different thing. And if the boss is enough of a spectacle, then like you're gonna enjoy that like crazy attack animation and like, oh, now you're dodging over here, switching over and going into the special and such. But there's a like almost a downtime moment where you're like, I'm not paying attention, I'm just doing an auto combo over and over again.
Yeah. And
every once in a while I'm breaking up this rhythm of mashing attack by doing one of these other things, Yeah, I wouldn't expect it to go much deeper, but it would be cool if, I guess, the tagging system being the weapon switching ability then allows for your style, that replaces it essentially. So
well, the game just came out. People are saying that apparently raw tagging to continue your combos is actually the thing. I don't know. I haven't gotten far enough into it. I played it, I don't know, like 6 hours total. I'm still in the tutorial.
Okay.
It's there. The onboarding on this is crazy long. And I know for a fact I have not unlocked half of the game's like de facto mechanics because every single person in that city center has some kind of day-to-day gimmick that I don't have access to and don't know how they work.
Now, when you say mechanics, are you talking about like weapon damage modifiers, or you mean like full on?
No, I'm
like
talking about
combat systems.
The dog has the scratch ticket, and that's the first one that you encounter. But then the coffee guy acts as like a Monster Hunter buff system, that kind of thing.
Okay.
Oh, I didn't even know there was a fourth character slot. Interesting. It's very interesting. Its style is definitely carrying it very strongly for me.
Yeah, that's the whole pull.
But like more than anything, I feel weird because I don't know how to feel about the game because I'm playing it on my computer, right? With a controller. And I'm like, this feels fairly simple, like in terms of mechanics and gameplay. And then I go, but if I compare this to the other games on my phone, this is a fucking heavenly creature
Right.
descended from space.
Right.
By comparison to the rest of the phone game market.
Yeah. Depends on the platform.
And like, if this was just a phone game, I'd be like, oh well, this is just the best game on your phone. Period.
Mm-hmm.
If you want to play an action game and have fun with on your phone, play Zenless Zone Zero. It's the best one. But since it's also living on my computer that has Devil May Cry 5 permanently installed,
right,
its comparison is in this weird state.
Yeah, I know what you mean by that. I think to me it's I mean, I downloaded it on my phone, so I'm just gonna have it in my brain. It's a phone game. With these types of action games, like, I guess there's enough of them happening now where it's like, okay, not everything is going to be DMC or Bayo, and nor should it. Every action game can do its own thing. Whatever they decide to focus on when gameplay is at its peak, when it's firing on all cylinders and asking the most of you and doing the coolest things. I guess I'm hoping that I don't get bored by the amount of things you're doing in combat. Like, if you discover the limit of the amount of things you're going to do, but then the context you're going to do them in keeps changing, that's one way of feeling like you're progressing through a game, and that can make the game feel good for a while, but it's going to eventually lose out. My interest is going to wane, right?
Yeah.
Hi-Fi Rush is bringing out mechanics later on as things are getting more and more complex, and they're asking more of you. So because it's getting more mechanically complex as it's bringing out set piece stages and bosses and all that stuff, both things are increasing in their complexity, and I'm fucking engaged and loving it. So that's the thing here, is like, I feel like a Grand Blue Relink, perhaps after unlocking your favorite character and then like kind of hitting the peak of what gameplay is asking you to do, I feel like there's a potential for me to get bored with this, but I'm not sure. I'll have to see a bit more.
It's a weird thing to say about your opinion or your worry, but you're completely right.
Okay.
All the feelings and opinions you just had are objectively correct, and are kind of built into the way that MiHoYo's games works. So, are you worried that you're going to fall off because the core thing isn't going to be as stimulating? Yeah, that's a definite possibility, which is why they constantly run events and add new story shit. And all their games have like a personality thing. Apparently, Zenless just has straight up S-links with the characters that you have on your party.
Okay.
But also because of the way that you play it and the way that I play it, in that you're probably supposed to play Zenless Zone Zero for about 40 minutes and then stop.
Okay.
And just have it be a long-term thing. Also, they have very short patch cycles. I believe it's every 6 weeks they have a patch.
Okay.
That adds new shit.
Because like, we talked about like FF16, and like,
yeah,
even that is a game that like, it's got a lot of options, but you have to kind of find your own fun once you become a god, and these games are going to have significantly less than that. So, but when the music is going and the boss is going through its phases and it's doing a unique, awesome attack, it doesn't matter what your character can do. That's going to be a cool moment. And then you're going to land a nice parry, and it's going to be like, oh, fuck yeah, that's cool. But that's only one half of the equation,
Yeah. So, it's about making the puddle wider. Not making it deeper. It's making the puddle bigger and wider.
How does Honkai like and the previous
Honkai has a leg up in that it's a JRPG. So they put out story expansions that are enormous.
Okay.
that you play through. And then once you've done your story expansion, you will then fall back on your daily or grinding or roguelike shit.
Okay. Yeah. That's I'll set my expectations accordingly, you know. That's all right.
So far though, there are some other things that I should bring to mind it's so strange because each of these games is a sequel to the last one, despite all being totally separate. So one of the things that was very, very surprising to me is that in Zenless, you unlock the ability to walk up to your PC and be like, I would like to rewatch every single fucking cutscene in the entire game. I would like to replay earlier story missions in their entirety.
Is that something special?
Yes, that's not a thing in the others.
Oh.
So like for Honkai Star Rail, you fight this very gigantic climactic boss at the end of the ice planet. And that boss becomes like a repeatable event that you can just do at your leisure, but it's just the pure boss fight. It's not like the lead up and you can't rewatch the cutscene. And so if you actually want to rewatch the cutscene of like the lead up to that fight where the music kicks in and all that thing, you have to go to YouTube.
That sucks.
It sure does. Which is why I was so surprised when I loaded up Zenless Zone Zero and I can all the game story content that I've ever done, I can just, if I choose to, I can just rewatch it if I feel like it, which is a lot fucking better than like going to goddamn YouTube.
Wait, so like how do you like do you every moment of playing has to be progressing further into?
Yeah.
Are there repeating missions that pop up that are
so for
randomly...
Zenless I can't tell you because I don't know.
Okay.
For Honkai Star Rail, every like major boss that you would ever fight becomes a repeatable thing that you can just do, but it exists as its own. Like, do you want to redo that boss fight? Yes, and it will start that boss fight over.
Okay, because yeah, sometimes I just want to fuck around and don't want to progress while messing with the character or something, you know. Okay.
The other thing that I noticed, and I don't know if anything else in the mobile space does this, I don't know if Honkai even does it, but so I went to the cutscene viewer and was like, oh, I'll watch this cutscene again. Okay, cool. And then it loads in like the dialogue from all the story chapters. So I'm like, okay, well, I'd like to escape from this, so I'll skip it. And I went to skip it, and like when you go to skip a cutscene in ZZZ, it tells you what happens in the cutscene. It goes, oh, you're going to skip it? Okay, here's all the things that happen in this cutscene you're skipping.
Wow. Okay.
It'll be like, well, okay, so Billy got really upset, and then he argued with Ambi, and then they found the box.
Sorry, we get it. You're impatient. Here's what happened. That's interesting. Okay. Cool. Huh. Yeah.
Oh, and I'll also give this game a huge props for, on your PC anyway, works really well, runs really great, and is the MiHoYo are the only devs that will natively support wireless PlayStation 5 controllers.
On PC?
Yeah.
Wow.
Even though I'm running it through fucking Steam input, it still recognizes that it's a PlayStation controller and switches the buttons correctly.
That's good shit. Nicely done. So when you talk about how some characters, like the more expensive ones, have like more to their gameplay, like holding down the attacks, for example.
That's my experience so far. But...
Yeah. I'm curious to know what like a complex character in Star Rail or Impact Third or such looks like. Okay. You know,
so
like
I can't say anything about Impact Third. Okay. I don't know nothing about it, though I have been told by people who play these games often that Zenless is kind of like the new Honkai Impact.
Okay.
In that it's like a very similar system.
Yeah, because I mean, I don't know if there's anything like a puppet character or some wild gameplay.
There is a puppet character.
Okay, where you like control two elements or so. Like
you control two puppets.
Okay, cool. Because yeah, I'm kind of
But it's primarily visual.
when
It's not.
I'm curious to know like what the like simplified combat system pushed to its complexity limits kind of looks like.
Okay, so
Because my
Star Rail.
expectations are not. I think people think that I'm expecting a Devil May Cry game, and I'm
No.
really not with this type of thing. But like a Monster Hunter move list, for example, is like a nice version of a limited action move set that still gives you a good variety of options. And that's
So
probably closer to what I would
I
hope
can
for.
talk more about Star Rail. So in Star Rail, since it's using a turn-based battle system, your complicated characters are ones that have like a lot of effects or conditions on their moves. So like the first 5-star banner they ever put out is a character named Sele, and it's named after that Sele, because they're incorrigible fucking nerds. And in a turn-based battle system, her gimmick was that if she killed an enemy with her special, she got another turn. And when she did her ult, she would give herself another turn again. So if you got her shit high enough, she would just give herself turns over and over and over, like an SMT boss.
Okay.
Right? That kind of thing. Whereas like some people are like, oh, this is the defensive one, makes a big shield, or what have you. There's like one of the characters in Honkai that you get for free is based around shielding people and then doing counterattacks when the shielded characters get hit.
Okay.
Right. So despite the fact that you have attack and shield and ult as your only buttons,
timing.
There's a secondary mechanic relying on what you actually do with that.
Yes, right. And similarly in Relink, I want to say Siegfried has like guard points on certain attacks that then
so I'm being told that the bear character has like guard impact, guard points, and has royal release.
Yeah. Okay.
Built into his moveset.
Cool.
Free Bear Man has royal guard. Is the chat thing that I'm reading. And he's mandatory. You get him. Oh, you know what? Yeah, I'm being reminded. So yeah, a fairly interesting character in Honkai Star Rail in terms of like complexity is it's a character named Acheron who doesn't gain ultimate energy like any of the others. She gains it by stacking debuffs on opponents. And by stacking enough debuffs, you get to do her ult, which then cashes out the debuffs.
Nice. Okay, that's cool. I like shit like that. Yeah.
So you put her on a team where everybody on the team throws debuffs onto the enemy,
right?
So that she gets her ult dramatically faster than everybody else.
Yes. Okay, that's fun. Yeah, cool. Yeah, even with the limited basics options, like mechanics are unique enough to require you to play differently and
I'm being told, I forget, I don't remember their names, so people were talking that there are 2 characters in Zenless Zone Zero that their moves change if they're on each other's team.
Huh. Interesting.
And one of the other things is like, there's the group of like maids. There's like Corin and whatever the fuck, Ellen and the wolf guy. You get passive boosts depending on whether or not your characters are all part of the same faction.
Oh, okay. Interesting. Yeah.
If they're the same element and if they're the same faction.
Yeah. Well, it's good that they want you to poke at it for little bits of periods of time and not extended periods of time, because that's pretty much how I intend to just, stab and see what's going on there.
See, I'm going to keep plugging away at it. I'm probably going to switch to playing it on my phone. It feels fairer to judge it as a phone game than it does, but it's also free, which is the other part. It is free.
Yeah, I mean, I played it on my phone and I did a fucking screen share to a TV, and then just that was that. I'm like, okay, I'm mashing a touchscreen. It is what it is. I think the moment I'm holding a controller and looking at a console, like walls start going up.
The other thing is that unlike Honkai Star Rail and unlike Genshin, controller support is not locked to iOS devices. You can use any Bluetooth controller on Android with Zenless. Probably because they knew they knew that people would really want a controller for this one. So like if I get like way into it, I might grab like a fucking like a Kishi Razor or something like that.
Which really just,
just
underlines, that anything can work on anything if you fucking design it to.
Yeah. And it's like, it's one of those things, it's like where it's like, I was getting a little annoyed where I unlocked Wolfman and I was like, I wish he had more moves. And then I'm like, I bet I wouldn't be saying that if I was dealing with my phone's touch screen. I bet I would actually be like, fuck, I keep doing a bunch of misinputs. Because there's too many fucking buttons in this space.
If all you're using is a stick and like 2 or 3 buttons on a controller, you're feeling all the buttons you're not using at all times. Yeah. I know what you mean.
But yeah, I'm liking it. But it's not blowing me out the gate like Honkai did. I think the difference between like Honkai Star Rail kicking your RPG protagonists down to 3 buttons feels a lot less limiting than kicking an action character down to 3 buttons.
Okay. Well, look, man, as a Jet Set fan, I know a thing or two about letting style carry the gameplay.
Oh yeah.
I've got that experience under my belt, but
it is drowning in it. It like, I feel like it can't be overstated like how much animation has gone into it. Like, like Nicole will move around and her tits will flop all over the place and it's very animated.
Sure.
But like that's every character's strand. Like I was looking at Wise walking down the street and I'm like, this looks like Disney animation in terms of bounciness.
Yeah.
Like everything's super, super bouncy and fluid.
All the gambling money has gone into this. Like this is, you could see where your roles have gone. It's into the dude's hair when he's doing his like it looks like Ragnar the Blood Edge with a mask on. Like
Billy.
He's
Ragnar the Blood Edge with the mask on with Ryan Reynolds' voice.
And he's Deadpooling a little bit, right?
Yeah, a little bit, yeah.
He's Deadpooling, right? Yeah. That's the vibe I got. Yeah.
Yeah, you taste the money on this, which is, it's nice, especially since it's free that you can taste the money.
And I do.
But yeah, no, I'll cycle back on that.
And then I remember that reveal trailer showing off like 30 characters or some.
Yeah, that's going to be like probably the first full year.
And it's like, you're going to find something in here for you.
Do you know if you can get 90 whatever 30 whatever the fuck currencies if you watch that reveal trailer from inside the game's mailbox?
I can't be doing with this.
I think the funniest thing is that I had not seen it. And so I went, okay, I'll watch it. And then I watched it. I'm like, that's a really cool trailer. And then popped back out and went, oh, cool. I got currency for doing that. I love Zenless Zone Zero. They're just giving everything to me for free.
I mean, I suppose.
Is what I said. I said that.
Yeah. I suppose it could have been like, watch this trailer for Homescapes and Plants vs. Zombies and then get a free life. So there's always that version of events.
One of the things that if you end up playing any of MiHoYo's games for any length of time, they really know how to make you feel like appreciated. So like, oh, the game was down for 2 hours. Here's 1,000 of the currency. Here it is. Here it is.
Yeah.
Oh, there was like a minor bug on this character. Free rolls for everybody. Everybody gets one.
Yeah, it's a casino pit boss.
Oh, not Genshin? Oh, okay. Only Honkai and this one.
The casino pit boss knows how to come up to you and make sure you're having a good night. Make sure everybody's having a good time. Hey, did you spend the 5 minutes pulling out the survey? Here's some rolls. Here you go. Yeah, look, dinner on the house. From the casino. You've been here a while. You can go eat anytime you want.
Don't worry about that second mortgage.
It's fine. What do you need?
Don't worry about it.
You need a ride back. You need a ride back to the airport. We got you covered, but that'll only be available next week. So you got to spend another week here. Room covered. No worries. Yeah. Okay. Let's take a quick break. And BRB.
I'm gonna pee. Bye.
All right, let's take a quick word from our sponsors.
I love you, sponsors. Mwah.
This week, the podcast is sponsored by ExpressVPN.
My favorite VPN service.
All right, here we go.
I was literally talking to a fellow a content creator like 2 days ago about how much I like ExpressVPN and how excited I am for you to get to the part where you read the copy they send us.
Now, I know that none of you watch porn.
That's true. Never.
No one.
I'm married.
But just in case you have any friends that do, might want to pass along this important PSA. Incognito mode does not make you incognito. Check the fine print. All late night activities are still 100% visible to a ton of third parties unless you use ExpressVPN.
Oh, man. Oh, that's so good. That's so good.
That's all you know. So, look.
Let your friends who may watch porn know.
Right? It's important to get the word out. Just friends help friends, Without ExpressVPN, these third parties can see every website that you go to, everything in incognito mode, your ISP, your mobile network provider, admins on your Wi-Fi network, your school, your boss, your parents. ExpressVPN reroutes 100% of your traffic through secure encrypted servers so third parties can't see your browsing history. So, there's that. I mean, it also helps if you want to, watch shows on places that limit you according to where you are. And it's great for sometimes getting access to play games you've bought that are not available on this side of the planet for these hours of the day, a certain time. But, yeah, there's that stuff, too. And I mean, hey, look, as I just took a trip, and while I was connecting to some sketchy ass airport Wi-Fi,
that's true.
I clicked that button. I encrypt that shit. I'm like, I don't want to fucking risk that. I don't know. Again, you don't know, that sketchy 12-year-old that you're afraid of in the McDonald's Wi-Fi is still going to be there in Greece, in France, wherever you land.
Countries have those.
That 12-year-old is international. He speaks all kinds of languages, and he's trying to snoop on your shit. So don't let him get away with it. Yeah, you click a button, and then you get protected. It works on your phone, on your laptop, your tablet, and more, so you can stay private on the go. Rated #1 by tech reviewers like CNET and The Verge. It's just that simple, and I was using it literally this week traveling. So protect your online privacy today by visiting expressvpn.com/superbeast. That's expressvpn.com/superbeast, and you can get an extra 3 months for free. That's expressvpn.com/superbeast. Thanks,
love
ExpressVPN.
you. I love you, ExpressVPN.
This week, the podcast is sponsored by Factor, and that is the no prep, no mess meals that you can get this summer as you're getting busy and you don't want to deal with all the hassle. If you're trying to get better wellness goals, you want to eat something calorie smart, protein plus. If you're going with keto, if you're going with whatever kind of dietary options, you want to eat something that tastes good. And Factor's fresh, never frozen meals are dietitian approved, ready to eat in just 2 minutes. So no matter how busy you are, you'll always have time to eat nutritious, great tasting meals. Look, man, I don't know, and I don't care how good you think you are at preparing your food. You're not a dietitian.
I'm not good at any of that.
You're not, and so how about you trust somebody that literally that is their job, is to figure out what tastes good and is also going to be healthy for you. And if you're picky, because I know a bunch of y'all are, because I got a serious problem with you. Oh, wow. Hey. Boy. Hold on a second. Let me just... And there you are. Hello. Huh. All right.
Everything all right here?
Yeah, that was you, though. That was you.
That what?
I know that was you. That was yours.
That was me.
That was 100% you. Yes. Different.
I clicked on Audacity to bring it up to make sure we were still recording, and I fucking completely missed it. The disconnect call.
That's fine. A very different effect happens when it's your end. And then we go to the Requiem world.
I'm sorry, everybody.
Look, we're getting a little lost, but the point is such that I have a big problem with a lot of you adult kids menu people. You people that are fucking stuck with your chicken fingies and your nuggies and your fries and your ketchup and maybe even a fish stick, but God forbid you have something resembling a real meal because your parents never actually challenged your palate, and when you got fussy, they just gave in and stuck to that fucking kids menu, and now you're ruined as adults because of it. I have huge problems with y'all. What's up?
Nothing.
Okay. You're thinking of you know somebody.
Talk about this later after we finish telling people about Factor.
We all know somebody, right? We all know somebody, and you can't just let them stick to that. So you gotta experiment. You gotta
you have to experiment.
You need to open up that palette, and you can get 35 different meals and more than 60 add-ons to choose from every week. So you'll have new flavors to explore while you crush your wellness goals with the dietitian-approved meals from Factor. From breakfast to dessert, they got you covered. So head to factormeals.com/castle50 and use code CASTLE50 to get 50% off your first box plus 20% off your next month. That's code CASTLE50 at factormeals.com/castle50. And you're going to get 50% off your first box plus 20% off your next month while your subscription is active. Thank you, Factor.
Thanks, Factor.
It's a goddamn problem. And the solution is to let your kids
to stop vaccinate. What? No.
Let your kids.
Oh, sorry. No, I went somewhere else with that.
Let your kids eat what you eat in smaller portions, and you know, don't lock them in to this 4 food limited safe zone that ruins it.
You're right, Wooly. Hey kids, you want your safe food? I'm flipping this table. You're eating this new shit. What? You won't eat it? You'll cry? You'd rather eat nothing? Get out of here with your undiagnosed childhood mental illness.
It's
be gone.
It's sometimes you can. It's all for sometimes. And it's,
oh no, yeah, no. It's like yeah, no. All jokes aside, there are many people in our audience that are chicken nugget appreciators.
Kids menu slaves, locked in, shackled.
Some of those people. They can't help it. Some of those people, their parents failed them and they're just assholes. And it's impossible to tell at a glance.
Yeah, sometimes there's people who are like I have legitimately an upset stomach, and anything that's not bland is going to cause major like IBS and things like that. That happens.
Yeah, you got to listen to them tell you about their Gundam collection for a little bit. Yeah. And then you're like,
but
I'll get the nuggies.
But then there's those who are just cowards that just never had that shot. That's true. And I know people like that. I know a couple of them, and they're fucked from now till forever because all they can eat are those 5 things.
Oh, you mean like I could like Wooly? Paige was like telling me how like damaging this was to me, and it was one of those things I had discussed when I was like, oh yeah, and like you don't realize it's even weird. I was like, oh yeah, no, my family and we ate just like the same 8 dinners in a row for like decades. And I was like nervous to try out like a huge variety of foods because my mom didn't want to try out any foods ever. Okay. Because everything to my mother was too spicy. I mean,
like my mom stuck to the same West Indian dishes for like my entire life, and basically worked in some like hamburger helper towards the end there. But for the most part, it was it was a rotation of like 10 things probably, maybe less. I would say that like if you are nothing wrong with enjoying your nuggies and your fish sticks and your fries and your kids menu, if you're having other things every once in a I don't know, single digit number. But if you're just like under no circumstances do I ever look at anything that's not on that menu. All right. Anyways.
Well, no, the real winners here are the people who just eat the same thing every single time. Like they walk into the menu and go, "I want that thing. That's the thing I like from this restaurant."
And then when you gotta go out, when you try to go out to eat with them anywhere, you just can't because they can't go anywhere because they refuse. They refuse to go anywhere and eat anything.
I know where I fit in on this because like I have the like I thought I would dislike Indian food because the food I always ate at home was bland. And I had always heard that Indian food was super spicy. Turns out I love Indian food.
Butter chicken is mild as fuck.
Wooly, you have to remember when my mom made shitty rice, and I'm like, "Mom, this rice tastes like shit." She was like, "Just put more butter on it." And I'm like, "That's not helping."
Parents set you on the path. They set you on the path for sure, right? You're not gonna know that like spicy Indian food. Like if you get a dansak or a madras, yeah, you're gonna fucking get hot. But then,
but the goof is that once I started going to college, I discovered I actually like to shit fire out of my asshole. I love spicy food.
It's so tasty. It's great.
But like I run into the problem where I'm like, you know what? I'm going to try something different at this new restaurant. I don't usually have this kind of thing. This seems really, I hated it. Cool. I wasted my time at this new restaurant.
So I can understand a reluctance to burn through cash on something like that. And I also know that there's a thing that happens to me sometimes where like let's say we're at, I don't know, I'm at some whatever, like a random chain that I've never been to in America, and I'm like, oh, that sounds interesting, let me get that. And then it's like, okay, this place runs and gets your food quickly based on the idea that everyone is getting one of 5 things, and you ordered that weird 6th thing, and we gotta go fucking defrost that, dude. So this is gonna take another 20 minutes. Like, goddamn,
we gotta go turn on the machine that's only used for this
this one weird thing. Exactly. And I'm like, fuck. Fine, I get it. I'm supposed to just stick to the things that are of this list, but yeah, I want to try the other thing. I've never had that. Whatever, But anyway, it's fine. It's just you have to step out of that comfort zone sometimes, y'all, and
else what?
Or else you become the person I'm thinking of who literally just you can't go out to eat with them. You're
gonna point fingers,
and even if you do make it at home for them, you have to stick to the things that they're used to. That's all you can make, and then it's just it's ketchup, and that's all you got. Anyway, all right.
So while we're on break, somebody posted this chart in the chat that I just posted towards you, Wooly. It's the Hoyoverse MiHoYo update schedule where they have their 3 games running, and if you play all 3 games every 2 weeks, there's a big patch. There's a big content drop. So they're
staggered with each other.
They're perfectly staggered.
Wow.
Every 2 weeks.
That's amazing. Okay.
Isn't it? That's
Zenless, Genshin, Honkai on a rotating schedule. Huh. Okay.
And they hit their patches too. They really are like rock solid on their dates. It's really crazy.
I guess I'm assuming Zenless is fucking crushing it in downloads and money right off the bat.
50 million already.
Yeah, there you go.
Downloads, that is.
Yeah.
So it's gonna
cool.
It's gonna
Okay.
Let's see.
Well, in any case, as far as the schedule for this week goes, I'll let you guys know. Things are a bit busy, and I'm gonna have to figure out how to do what. Might do some stuff with a couple guests. We'll see. But to check out my Twitter, I'll let you know once I figure out how the schedule is gonna look. But if you are checking out the Yakuza playthrough, a new intro has been dropped for this next second half of the game, or the chapters rather. So the new OP on the LPs is available. You can go peep that. We had some live action fun there for y'all, and I'm starting to seriously consider like this mainlining more aggressively towards.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I think so. Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of good stuff to be had in these sides, but
is there ever?
yeah.
But like, I saw it just today. I was like, when I was going through your videos to check out exactly where you were at with the Elden Ring DLC, I'm seeing like the hundreds on those part numbers.
I mean,
and I'm like, I don't even recognize this shit. I don't even know where he's at.
They're funny, goofy quests, you know? There's just infinity of them. That's all. You just gotta arbitrarily take a knife to it, I suppose.
Can you believe that there has been more than one of these games a year since 2004? And they're all like this?
It's all the formula. Yeah.
Like there's so much.
It's like
shit.
episodes of SNL, man. Like they just write these skits.
And like there's ones that are like better and worse, but like the worst one is like a 7. Mm-hmm. Right? Like it's ridiculous.
Yeah. I mean, I definitely think that like to go forward, I probably need to preemptively kind of recognize off the jump, like, this is a side quest that is, it's not that it's bad, it's just not amongst the fucking creme de la creme, so just gonna move past it.
I did everything in 7, and god, that took goddamn forever. And then after that, I was just like, because people always, you know, when you're streaming it, people always beat it way faster than you, even if you start on the day. Mm-hmm. I was just like, okay, give me the list of the ones I can't skip.
Yeah.
And for Infinite Wealth, that list was incredibly helpful because it included like Ichiban hanging out with American Weeaboo.
Yeah, like there's
and the diaper baby quest lines and stuff like that.
Fucking Michael Jackson, like there's just, I mean, it just sucks because I'm like, it still is hilarious to go watch I don't know, fucking Mr. Libido do his goofy shit, or
because he's great.
And there's the other things there's stuff there. Kiryu doing his pocket racer side game, like it's. I don't want to miss that, but you can't get it all. You just can't.
This actually feels like something I should have mentioned when I played when I talked about FF7. How I was like, oh man, the side content really ground me down. It's like, it's not the nature of the side content, because like I've done all the side content damn near in almost every single one of those games, and it didn't grind me down like it did in FF7, because the side content quality in Like a Dragon it's like one number down from like the main shit. It's like slightly lower budget.
Yeah. So this gets worse, man. And I guess the only other thing too is like, because of the way you hit these, it's not like 16 where you're like highlighted on the map there, it's got a name. You just wander around a corner and then some weird dude in an alleyway is like,
bro, you need to help me get rid of these chickens.
Yo, I got mushrooms. You want to buy my shrooms?
No.
And like I'll
kill you.
And you're in it. You're just, you wander and you're in it. So then it's like you have to recognize the startup of it.
Pavlovian fucking response to that theme of sadness.
Oh, the fucking
like,
organ.
You're hearing the same song in 0, but then they went on to use that in every game after that. And like every time they use it, it's being used as a punchline in 7 and 8. When it's like, when it really doesn't deserve sadness at all, to the point where in 8 they made a new theme of sadness for some side quests that's like, no, actually have emotions for real.
Yeah. I as someone who like, I did fucking all of Elden Ring and sat there and actually gave the lore its due in the process, and I expected there to be a very clear, like, that felt like a waste of time, like side quest
No,
moment, but you never get that. You never get that moment. It doesn't let you off so easy. What does feel like a waste of time is, I mean, running around doing real estate shit, but you know,
yeah, except it unlocks the coolest shit in the game.
And so on and so forth. Yeah.
Oh man, I'm watching some of the cutscenes that you're in. Yo, you still got a bunch to go. You met Nishitani.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, there's still a bunch.
You know, so that's it. I think I'm just gonna take a huge fucking scalpel to things, and you know, there's gonna have to be a little bit of like quality left on the table. This is my first Yakuza, and
it's crazy.
I thought it would let me off the hook a little bit more. So.
Yeah, no, it's too consistently good in every direction. It's bananas. And Zero's like Zero's like particularly good.
But I mean, so, and the other thing too is like, I've also talked about this with Hollow Knight, but even if I was playing this off stream, it would be more game than I'm looking for.
Mm.
It would be hitting that amount, you know. Anyway, all right.
What else? I beat Final Fantasy 14 Dawn Trail.
Yeah. Are you okay?
I am okay. I did not look super great the other night.
How did you play 28 hours in 24?
Well,
I don't understand.
Not in 24. I had a whole week. Let's go look. You can look at the 8 parts, which were 8, 7.5, 4.5, 2, 4.5, 7.5, 7.5, 7.5.
Man. Yeah, and look, everyone obviously knows, but like that'd be happen with or without a microphone in front of you.
So one of the things that happened was really funny, where I had somebody come into the chat on like day 2 or 3 and was very kind about it. Like, it was not malicious, but like the most backhanded compliment I think I've ever received on my channel, which was like, I really appreciate Pat streaming through the FF14 expansion, even though these views are so bad. Because I'm really glad to be here. And like, oh man,
Jesus Christ,
holy shit.
Yeah.
But like, and then I'm like, well, it doesn't even matter, because I would literally just be not on camera doing the exact same thing.
Yeah. I guess it's like there's a playlist, and you could just have you going in your ear for a full day and night.
Mm-hmm.
Why did I see more like Yawn Trail?
Okay, so
what the fuck?
So I'm gonna set you up here. So this is the 7.0 expansion.
Has
so
the bar become too high?
There's 2.0, which is a Realm Reborn, then Heavensward, Stormblood, Shadowbringers, Endwalker. So this is the 5th expansion, right? This is also the start of a new storyline. Like, Endwalker
the closing
was a very, very conclusive end to a 10-year storyline.
Right.
And this is, hey, we're starting a new one.
Shit. Okay.
So we have a couple things happening. One, people don't understand that you cannot escalate a story forever. Okay?
What?
You can't keep, like, especially, I'm not going to tell you anything about Endwalker's finale. You actually cannot escalate past what was occurring in Endwalker. But also from like a narrative perspective, from like players, you can't just, the line can't go up forever. You need to center it again so it can go back up. So
Ultra Instinct Goku has some words for you.
Yeah. So Dawn Trail,
Toriyama gives no fucks.
Pulls it back a very considerable amount. and gives you a much lower stakes, much chiller narrative setup, right? It's about
setting up the pieces.
You go to a new country and you're helping with like the succession of royalty, essentially, right? You're not saving the planet, for example. The devs compared it to like a Beach episode, like in terms of pacing, like in between arcs, right? So that's part one of what's occurring. The second part is that the games, the expansions reviews on Steam anyway, are actually fairly poor. They are mixed. Because part two of toning that down is taking your character as no longer the main character. You are accompanying a different character on their storyline.
Okay.
And you are acting as essentially the heavy in that storyline.
Right.
You're Orin instead of Titus or Yuna.
Okay. Yeah.
Now, I really dig being that character. It's very satisfying going through a storyline in which, like, how are we going to solve this? And then they essentially just go,
I kind of assumed and took for granted that was what you were throughout everything else anyways, because
no, you were absolutely the main character.
Okay, because it's like the easiest way to make a game that has infinity players, like, anyway, whatever. Like, being a supporting cast to another main character is an easy way to make an MMO story work, but sure.
So, next step is I'm going to send you a photo. This photo is of a cat person. This character's name is Wook Lamont, and this is the main character that you will be accompanying throughout most of the story. She is a candidate for the new throne that you're dealing with the succession with, right? Yawn Trail leads into more like woke Lamau as your goofy meme shit. If you want to continue on that. Here's the problem.
What?
Here's the problem. Okay. So Dawn Trail is about going on and helping Wook Lamont with her storyline and so on and so forth, right? The expansion therefore kind of lives and dies based on whether or not you like this character.
Right. Yes.
Earlier in the chat, I saw somebody, even before I started to say up, it's like you are the side character to the worst character in the game. Some people hate this character.
I see. A lot is riding on this.
They're kind of dumb. Their voice direction, not their voice acting, but their voice direction on some of the lines is not great. I think I saw someone describe it as screaming in lowercase, like, and that's like an issue across the whole expansion for some reason, that people like they don't yell as loud as they need to. She's basically cat person Luffy, but instead of becoming king of the pirates, she wants to become the Dawn Servant. Very similar in attitude.
Dumb, goofy, earnest, pure.
Yeah, compassionate. Yeah, learning about the world kind of thing.
Slipping on banana peels.
Oh, someone asked a really interesting question. What differentiates voice acting and voice direction? Voice acting quality is whether or not you can hit the lines the way you were told to hit them. Voice direction is the person telling you to hit the lines a certain way. So because most voice actors are reading a script out of context, or in some cases sequentially. So it's up to the voice director to tell them, this is a really dramatic moment, I need you to be yelling. Or this is a really quiet moment, I need you to, what have you. So if you want a really good example of the worst voice direction in the world, you can go look at Trials of Mana, that new Trials game that came out Mana game came out a little while ago, in which no actor is given any direction at all, and all their lines are emotionally random for every scene. Like there's no context given to any of them. Characters are yelling when they're quietly talking. Characters are quietly talking when they should be yelling.
Direction also tells you that it's pronounced Sakamoto.
Yeah, it does. Right. So my personal opinion, I really like Wook Lamont. I think she's a great character, and I was very happy to play second fiddle to what is obviously her story. With the occasional nod of like, hello, main character from the other games, can you please solve this because you are a blunt instrument in this setting, right? If you hate this character, this game is going to be rough. Okay,
from here on out.
She represents more spoken dialogue than the next 4 speaking roles in the expansion combined.
Wow.
Like this is the Wook Lamont show.
Okay. So without even knowing what the specifics are as to why people would love or hate.
Yeah.
Given how fucking big and like delicately woven this tapestry of a game is, I'm surprised that such a bold hit or miss decision would be made, and that it wouldn't be something that like was like majority people think that they nailed it, as opposed to something kind of divisive. Do you know what I mean? Like
it is impossible to know what the majority is. Like I don't know.
I'm trying to think of an example where it's like, oh, okay, you know how we were talking about like what the interpretation of these classic FF7 characters is going to be like when remade, and like how they kind of are like, yeah, there's probably going to be some people that really hate this Cloud,
but by and large they totally nailed it.
But everyone mostly agrees that's Cloud, absolutely, right? Like that. You'd think they'd go with a choice that would be tested and proven to more or less get the vast majority of people because of how instrumental it is to such a big game and so many people. I'm really surprised to hear this.
I can only speak to my general view of, forums and the Reddit and whatnot, as well as in-game, as well as my friends who play 14. Everybody that I have spoken to myself really likes the character, and had fun with the expansion. Or if they had a problem with the character here and there or in this moment or that moment, it passed because they had a good time. Okay. The issue with understanding. Oh, ask your question.
Okay, it was just the how much is Luffy and how much is Naruto?
Oh, it's
because I feel like there's a difference.
What's the difference between the two, really?
I feel like there is a difference.
It's a lot of both.
Okay.
It's a lot of both.
Okay.
There's a lot of Naruto in there.
The moments that
she does have parents.
Okay. Because the moments of Naruto that like really, really fucking got unbearable were the times when like it's not just, it's like, yes, there's the silly and the earnest and that's all fine. You can be a pure-hearted character drawn in, and it's like, I don't care what society says or what the rules are. I'm going to do my own thing my own way, and that's it, whatever. That's totally fine. It's the moments where like the main character is like 8 years behind everyone and everything that's happening.
No, that's not what's happening. No, that's not what's happening.
Okay.
I have to take a quick break.
Okay.
I'll be right back, but I will follow up on that exact point when we get back. All right, Wooly, what was the question you had just asked me? It was about the character not knowing anything.
Yeah, so does she lean a little more Luffy or a little more Naruto?
I'd probably say Luffy, but she exists as her own thing
Right,
to
yeah,
some
yeah,
degree.
yeah, yeah. And I guess and I guess to that end, because there's a lot of you know, like plucky, kind of silly, but ultimately you know, unexpectedly smart protagonists that have their, like, you know, sort of naive worldview.
Yeah, so that's the core of it, is that this is a city girl who doesn't know a lot about all the different cultures, which expands into the first half of the expansion is a tour of the new country and learning about these people, solving their bullshit, finding their dark secret, etc.
And that naivete also, like, that's a trait that applies to a million, like, anime protagonists. You're Gon, Deku, Ippo, Senna, like, all these characters are just like, yeah, I'm gonna take the world at face value.
Find out what's so good about cigarettes.
Sure.
Oh, you're not familiar with that one?
I guess not. But
the description of Gon is like a young boy whose dad left to go get cigarettes, and his journey to find out what makes cigarettes so appealing.
Okay.
Like, he's not going to find his dad. He's like, man, dad said cigarettes are great. I wonder how good they taste.
But yeah, and you know, these characters all just kind of like take the world at face value and are very easily trusting, and, you know, often have to learn. But there's always that moment when, back against the wall, you're like, oh, they're dumb, and it's like, no, they're not dumb. They came up with a really clever thing that you.
It's like, oh no, they might be dumb though. Like, Luffy's like not dumb, but he's actually really dumb.
And so I and you know, I have many memories of just rolling my eyes hard at Naruto, as plot is happening around him, and you know, whether, like, Orochimaru's sitting there talking about, like, why he's taken over Sasuke's body, or what Sasuke being like, I gotta go, and Naruto being there like, what's going on?
Yeah,
but why? He's like, we just told you.
So in general, it seems that, in my opinion, from actually speaking to other humans, that the general response is very positive about most of the expansion, including Wook Lamont. But the people who don't like this character are miserable and loud, and in many cases, really, 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 really disingenuous. And intellectually dishonest. So one of the things, I don't know if you saw, Mom posted on Twitter, where Mom was putting up this expansion's so shit, takes 4 hours to get to the first dungeon, I'm so bored. And then she just posted screenshots of every playthrough of every expansion where it takes exactly 4.5 hours to get to the first dungeon on every single expansion. It's funny because people are complaining a lot about, like, oh, the structure's so bad. It's the same structure. It's like identical. It's almost a problem how much the structure does not change between expansions, just the content. It's like, you do this, you meet these people, you solve their problem, you do this, you go to the second part of the zone, you get the Aether Currents, you do the dungeon. And then you do that 6 times. And then there's the secret 6 of the zone, etc.
Could it possibly be? Yeah, go on.
So you're like, well, I really like this character, and the expansion is pretty fantastic overall, particularly the more difficult content. Or so the normal content's been a lot more interesting, a lot more difficult. And I think that their voice acting totally fits in with just about everybody else, and that I'm having a really great time. And I keep seeing people who are mad about the expansion or the character, and a lot of that seems disingenuous or just like way angrier than you would expect, considering. And I'm like, I don't know why this is happening, other than Wook Lamont's voice actor is trans.
Hence the Wook Lamau.
Yeah.
Okay.
And the reason I say this is twofold. One is the just straight up, like, direct reasoning, which is this because of this. And the second one is that the day the voice actor's name came out in the last expansion, when the character was there for 15 minutes, I fucking hate this character.
Oh, yeah. There you go.
Now so listen.
I so think, predictable. Oh, that's great. Wow.
I think that it would be just as disingenuous, and I think it would be unhelpful to everyone for me to go or even imply that anyone who does not like Wook Lamont the character does so because of their voice actor or Woke Lamau or whatever the fuck, right? I think that's of no use to anyone. We just had a person in the chat just now go, I play the game in Japanese exclusively, and I also don't like this character, right? Because it is a very specific type of character, and I can see some people's personalities like really grating with them following essentially dumb Chewbacca around, right? However, there is a weirdly intense, non-specific vitriol that I feel should probably be mentioned, and there's probably a cause there.
Vague, just I can't just quite.
This expansion's so bad because of this, but it was like that last time. Yeah, but it's just worse now. It's like, is it?
That's. Yeah. Okay. There we go. There's the full picture. Took a second.
Right.
Right.
It's.
Man. Yeah. You ever hear the like the person that is being made aware of the fact that the Dylan Mulvaney can was only a one-off and not actually sold in stores? You ever hear that person hearing for the first time that it wasn't a thing that was sold in stores, it was just one thing? And
it was like a promotional goof
for one person, and just the logic crunch noises followed by searching for, but still though.
I will say
it's
that people
wild
saying
to watch
stupid
it happen.
shit like you used to be able to enjoy FF14 but you can't anymore because of Wook is really funny, and all those variations are hilarious. But like it seems out of pace with the reality, especially since the gist of the expansion is that this is one of the better ones. I'd put it in like the top 3. It's excellent.
Okay.
And they do something really smart where it feels like there are 2 expansions. So the usual deal that they do here is that they have 6 zones. They always have 6. And the 6th one is always hidden from promotion. It's they show off a lot for an MMO lead up, but the 6th zone is always the secret zone that has something big in it, right? What they did this time is the first 3 are actually split into half. So the first 3 zones all have 2 biomes and all have 2 arcs.
Okay.
So it feels like by the time you get to the halfway point that you have played through a full expansion. And then you are playing as the expansion's own sequel by doing the next 3.
Okay.
And hold on, I need to stop for a second. We have someone in the chat. I'm tired of people telling me that I am transphobic because I hate the character and I don't like English voice acting. Maybe learn how to take criticisms and stop moving your goalpost and doing extreme mental gymnastics to call people transphobic. Why don't you open your ears, you dumb asshole, and listen to the thing I just said?
Bro, Pat.
2 minutes ago.
Pat, goalposts.
So frustrating.
Bro, dual wielding goalposts are the best weapons ever. What are we talking about?
I made such a
the charged double goalpost attack as you carry them is the best.
It's like, you know what my favorite
and then you
part about
spin
that,
and you do a giant AoE.
is that when somebody goes, I say, hey, I don't think it's useful to call people this and that, depending on this. This is not necessarily the reason that you would dislike it. And someone just barges in and not listening. He goes, I hate it when people call me that because I hate it. I hate it for my own reasons. And it's like, well, now I don't believe you because you're coming off like a stupid asshole. And it's like a fairly neutral situation.
And then you
so
power
like your
stance.
Persecution makes me think
X
that you're a
cut.
liar.
Launch. Giant double slash attack. Juggle, 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 juggle. Double overhead slam.
Like you're saying the same thing I said in an angry voice, like someone attacked you, which can only lead me to believe that you feel attacked because you feel guilty because you're an asshole. Anyway. God, that threw me real. Oh my God. That's like my most hated type of stupid person.
I mean, really, it's just, hey man, get off Twitter for a minute, see if your life improves. I hope it all works out for you.
I'm sure, like I think the best part is like get off Twitter and see if your life improves. But when you said that, I'm like, but our lives will improve when you shut the fuck up.
Yeah, it's anyway. I believe in power stancing goalposts, quite frankly. I think that shit's rad. Let's go.
But yeah, no, good expansion. Only complaint I would have is it would do to have more unique scenarios, like gameplay scenarios in between story bits.
These Guilty Gear Strive tournaments are just unbearable these days.
Oh.
It was so much more fun to watch before, but now, ugh.
There's also a secondary fun type of complaint with the expansion, which is extra funny. So FF14's primary story path. It's been like a
side note though. We gotta get some more merch for the rest of the characters out there though, because there are, as it stands currently, like I think 12 or 13 Bridget figures. Biken gets like 2 and some of the other girls get 1 or 2, and none of the guys have anything except 1 for Sol.
Yeah, okay. And that's because Ice Guy was like, you're making one, I want one.
The merch is fucking out of control. All right.
So there is one bonus set of follow-up complaints, which are just like delicious tears, and just I'm so happy about it. So FF14's base level difficulty of its normal story content has oscillated between pretty easy and way too easy.
Okay.
All the hard stuff has been set off to the side with story with bonus content, like extreme raids or what stuff you don't have to actually do, right?
Mm-hmm.
With one exception being Stormblood's normal final boss was actually pretty tough. And there's one solo duty in Endwalker that was pretty tough. And this was responded to by many members of the community of, why are you gatekeeping the rest of the game from me? Why did you make it? It's too hard. Didn't
we just have this conversation?
We did. And the difference being that we're talking about people who play a game like the Stormblood final boss. You had to have played the game for like minimum 400 hours to get there. And the idea that you cannot actually do this because it's like a normal difficulty after years of, it's ridiculous, right? So Dawn Trail came out, and one of the things that Yoshi P talked about was that he feels like he has made the incline a little too smooth and would like to add more like complexity and friction to the game. And as a result, the normal content that you do as part of the main story is of like, there's some like juice to it. Like it can be tough.
Okay. I thought it was always like the main stuff, your friends could carry you through it, and then the stuff that gets you the bigger rewards.
Oh, they can. I'm talking about people with no friends.
Okay.
I'm talking about people with no friends.
Okay.
And specifically the post game like roulettes, like, you know, you do an EX dungeon every day or so. Like they're not, you can't sleep through them. Like they're not hard, but like you have to actually pay attention. And endless complaining, endless, like for like me and my friends are thrilled. Like the EX roulettes are a blast. They're much more interesting because they're much more active. They're not harder per se, but they're a lot more active. They require a lot more thinking, right? And in at least one case, people are finding out like, oh, why'd they have to make it so difficult? This isn't fun. Only to go back on the official forums or on Reddit and find the same users going like, God forbid they make this game have any fucking challenge. This shit is too easy for babies. The same people.
Okay.
And it's like, oh, we found another case of I just want it to be just hard enough that I can beat it and lord it over others. I don't actually want it to be difficult. I just want it to be difficult for you. And now that I have to actually try, oh, it's too hard. And it looks like they're not going to change it. So hooray. The other thing that it does is that by making the main story actually a little challenging is that people that don't have any friends and suck shit are going to have trouble reaching the end, which is awesome because people who play an MMO for multiple years and have somehow made no friends and are also bad at the game should stop. They should stop playing it because interacting with them is miserable.
But you don't pay my sub.
Yes, that's right. That's right, Wooly. That's right. That's right.
Okay.
Congrats.
All right.
You have closed the circle.
Okay. Did it.
But yeah, no, if you manage to play a fucking MMO for multiple years and you do not have even one person you can ask to come in to play a dungeon with you, even casually, this means that you are either so bad no one wants to play with you, or that you are so miserable to exist next to in a digital space that no one wants to deal with you.
Well, sure. I mean, there are people that are just doing duty finding the whole way through and doing public stuff, right? Like,
yes. And it would be strange for them to not have a single positive interaction for that entire period. It is strange to play an MMO for multiple years and never interact with one person. Ever. That's weird.
or like just add to the, or involve yourself in the social element at the very least.
Yeah.
Right.
Because like they've made it so that you can clear through 99.9% of the game's mandatory story content with robots, bots, or an occasional duty finder here or there. Right. And so you could get all the way to the end of the story content, right? All the external story content is social content. It's raids with people. It's, alliance raids with people. It's treasure maps with people, right? None of these have been automated because they are at their core social activities. And it's like, if you are like, I want to do these social things by myself, and if you felt that way the whole way through, it's like these people tend to be like annoying to deal with. They tend to be very demanding, rude,
antisocial,
bad at the game.
But the game does allow you to make it through.
Yeah, to get to the end of the built storyline content. And if that's all you want, then it's super easy to just do that and ignore people entirely. But if you want to play the MMO part with MMO people, you have to play the MMO part with MMO people.
What happens generally to like the most toxic people that just continue on? So
it depends. you blacklist them. So duty finding is it pulls into like when you have like a server rack is what you're pulling the your duty finding from.
Yeah.
So it's like everybody on Primal, which is like 10 servers, right? So it's not going to be like you'll never be able to queue up for anything because
that's what I was wondering.
It's pulling for so many people.
Okay.
Right? But it might become you have to move servers because no one wants to do a party with you on hard content.
Because you've been blacklisted.
Because because party, there's only a percentage of any particular server that goes into Party Finder to do hard stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're just like a consistent asshole all the time, eventually people will see your name and go, no, I'm leaving this party, I'm out.
I mean, well, like if you're min-maxing and doing it efficiently, then like 39 other people per raid are blocking you, right?
Oh no, not 39. 7.
Okay. Gotcha.
No, World of Warcraft does the 40s.
I see.
But like there's you have to be really insanely famously toxic to actually get frozen out of the social aspect in general, because there are just so many people playing the game. When if you were talking about like FF11 where you're stuck on your server forever and it's 2,000 people, yeah, you could fuck that server up. You could like ruin it to the point where you had to leave, because everyone would eventually know your name and be like, oh, that guy's an asshole, right? But when you're queuing up for something, you're queuing up into a population of like 8 million people.
Yeah, it's interesting because I'm like the dynamics of like being an insufferable fucking YouTube, whatever, see you next Tuesday, while playing a game that relies on other people's like relationships and such for content. It's fascinating because again, we talk about, in fighting games, when you fucking ban somebody enough and they rage quit enough that they eventually, you can add enough people to a block list that they get less matches, the quality of their experience goes down in such a way that they end up fighting other people that are in similar shitty disconnection ratios and so on,
I can only think of like one person who ever had what you're describing happen to him. And that was a content creator named Mr. Happy, who I believe has been publicly removed from like 2 raid groups, like world first raid groups.
Okay.
And also has the distinction of ruining one of the game's encounters. Which is wild. So here's the deal. Mr. Happy puts out guides for encounters. He put out a guide that was wrong and described a way to beat the fight that was completely dead ass wrong and would result in failure most of the time. But because he had a big YouTube channel and made a lot of guides, it became the de facto way to do that encounter, which ruined it. It's the encounter was Tsukiyomi. Okay. So his video like ruined Tsukiyomi for Party Finder players.
Okay.
Because people would go in and it's like, we're doing this strat, and you'd be like, that strat doesn't work. It will die.
Yeah, okay. Being a large streamer magnifies this issue somewhat in a different way. I wasn't even thinking that. Huh. Okay.
Oh man. Like I didn't. Luckily, I have my friends and we play together, but like Tsukiyomi was apparently just miserable as a result of that. Hey, if you want guides for EX trials, go to MTQ Capture. Ms. Tech's guides are much better, and she seems really nice.
Okay. Any other?
Yeah, Dawn Trail's good. Yep. It's really good. Also, the graphics upgrade is fantastic. It makes the game look like you load in and you look at the graphics update and you're like, it looks the same, and then you go and look back at what it looked like just a couple weeks ago and you're like, oh no, it doesn't. My memories are unreliable. It looks like what the game looks like in my fucking head.
Okay.
Though they didn't fix, the people who play FF14 would know this, you would not, Wooly, but they did not fix the Crystal Exarch's arm during that cutscene. It's for some reason that specific model that they zoom in on all the time is not fixed, and that's hilarious.
What's the schedule?
I beat everything. This is the first time since fucking December that I am not doing some kind of like August, that I'm not playing some kind of long-running mega RPG. I don't know. I don't know what days I'm streaming this week even. I will be doing streams, but I haven't figured out what it's going to be. I'll probably spin the wheel and play a bunch of bullshit. I might do the Alan Wake DLC, but nothing is for certain.
Okay.
But you can go down to twitch.tv/PatStaresAt to do that. You can also, tonight, that would be Monday, July 8th, at 6 p.m. Pacific, go down to twitch.tv/PeachSaliva. Paige is going to be streaming. I'm not sure what. I think she might just be hanging out or maybe doing Am I the Asshole? But that's tonight. You can check that out. And also, there is one other thing that I needed to mention. Paige and I watched not Good, the Bad, the Ugly. We watched A Fistful of Dollars the first time.
Oh, shit. Yesterday. Okay. I haven't watched that one. Yeah.
Have you seen Yojimbo?
No.
So I haven't seen Yojimbo, but upon watching A Fistful of Dollars and being like, that's great, you look at the Wikipedia and Sergio Leone paid Kurosawa 15% of the movie's revenue because Kurosawa was like, that's my fucking movie, you stole my fucking movie. So
Yeah.
I went up and looked over the plot synopsis of Yojimbo, and he stole that movie.
Did you know
Fistful of Dollars is just a theft of Yojimbo.
Yeah, you can take any samurai thing and put a cowboy hat and put a gun where a sword is.
Magnificent Seven.
Literally Wild 9 or whatever.
So so I don't really have to talk wise about Fistful of Dollars other than it's the first Clint Eastwood Western. It's the genesis of spaghetti westerns, i.e. Italian westerns. It's great. It's fantastic. It's not like you're watching it, you're like, oh, this is shot like an old movie, but like you can see the future of like this is actually some crazy close-ups or some really great shot composition. It's fantastic. It's a classic for a reason. Definitely needs subtitles. Oh my God, does it definitely need subtitles? We tried to watch a subtitleless version and it was unintelligible. Everyone's mumbling. They're all dubbed over Italians.
How long is it?
It's impossible. It's hour 43.
Oh, okay. It is not Good, Bad, the Ugly length. Yeah. Okay.
No, it's not.
All right.
So the reason why we're watching Fistful of Dollars, hold on a second, is because we wanted to watch Good, Bad, and the Ugly, at which point I mentioned to Paige that Good, the Bad, and the Ugly is one, insanely long. It's really long.
Yep.
And two, the Good, the Bad, and the Ugly is actually the finale to a trilogy of movies of The Man with No Name. And that I had never watched A Fistful or A Few Dollars More.
Okay.
And I would love to do so. So we're going to start with Fistful of Dollars, and then probably tomorrow or something like that, we'll watch A Few Dollars More, and then we'll watch Good, the Bad, the Ugly. And as to what spawned this, early in a scene where Clint Eastwood is walking around with a saddlebag over his shoulder, Paige pulls out her phone and writes, "Wears his saddlebag like the ghoul."
God damn it. Yeah. All right. Reference points established for all things.
Well, you see, because Cooper Howard in Fallout, i.e. the Ghoul, was a famous movie star that played in a lot of westerns, like The Man from Calabasas. And those are probably based off of these old Clint Eastwood movies. So really, we need to watch these old Clint Eastwood movies to see what the Cooper Howard movies were probably like.
Okay. Center of the universe established.
It's
Oh. Okay. Well,
I'm being informed also that the showrunners for Fallout based Fallout off The Good and the Bad and the Ugly.
well, guess what? It's 4 hours and it's fucking incredible.
Yeah, they're great. They're fantastic.
So do it, but
there are jork-based reasons here.
yeah, okay. Also, I mean, trilogy in the sense, my understanding is similar to how like
Barely.
like the Vengeance trilogy is a quote unquote trilogy. It's like you know, thematically and sort of, but yeah, okay, all right.
But yeah, it's good stuff.
Yeah, cowboys doing cool things. Yeah.
Yes. Cowboys are very cool. It's true. And that's it for Pat's Week.
There, I mean, I half expected a like, not dead enough though, you know. But no, okay, all right.
At one point, he climbs into a coffin, and she was like, "Yeah."
All right. Hey, what's going on? Let's hit it. So, yeah. There's a couple announcements over the last 2 weeks. They announced Dead Rising Deluxe Remaster.
Hey, that's really cool. That game deserves it. They've also said they're going to work on the hostage AI, which is great because the civilian AI in that was so busted. They also then came out and said that they're relicensing the licensed music, which means the Convicts fucking theme is coming back, Gone Guru.
Okay.
But they didn't get Frank's voice actor back, so fuck it.
This is it feels like an out of nowhere, but it also is.
You know what? It feels a lot less out of nowhere if you've tried to play a Dead Rising game on your computer lately.
Yeah, okay.
Guess what? Those games are games for Windows Live shits, and they are fucked up.
Okay. Well, if they if this ends up being something where they can Resident Evil it, and it's like, hey, we can just make this franchise again and go forward.
So this is a remaster. This is not a remake. This is very much like the original game, just juiced a little bit.
But on the RE engine, it's you got to do it pretty much like from scratch. So
yeah, but it's still going to be the core same thing. It's going to look nicer, run better.
Not new content, but still like. Yeah.
I mean, there might be a little new content. Like they changed like the evil Chinese guy into evil white guy for some reason.
Okay.
I don't know why they did that.
But the I guess the idea being that like a Resident Evil like changed mechanically and things.
Yeah, no. This is going to be Dead Rising, but newer and better.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. It's also the best Dead Rising game.
I just played that the short part of 2 and K0 and that fucking.
Sorry, it's the second best Dead Rising game.
Yeah,
because that's the best Dead Rising game.
God, that fucking boss theme in that one, man. This is the best it's gonna get. So good. And then 3 I started and then stopped early.
Yeah, no, that game's terrible. And 4 is also terrible.
Oh, but then there was the Super Hyper Dash remix for Matching Service. Like,
yeah, who gets
that was a goofy little bit for fun for a minute. Yeah, the Cell Dweller song. That's what it was.
Yeah, no, 1 is the best one. 2 is great. Off the Record is also great, but it's really just 1, 2, and 2.
September 19th. Yeah. Okay. Well, let's see if they do anything about the amount of zombies you have to kill to unlock the real Mega Buster.
You know what they should do? They should make it so that they should increase the number to just over the point where it's even completable. Like, they should make the number high enough that you cannot actually complete the zombie genocider achievement, so that people who want to waste their time doing that, like I do, end up with nothing and feel the deep regret even more.
Oh, okay.
That is a, like,
Sure.
attack achievement. That is a mean achievement in Dead Rising. Like, it because we've talked about
I feel like that was a life-changing moment for y'all back in the day when it was, because it was an early 360 game, like in the launch window, that had horrible fucking UI issues that barely understood how to work in HD. I remember. And yeah, the get inside the van or whatever and then just do donuts.
Yeah, make sure to play the game in a way that makes you never want to play it again to get this achievement. Like, I put that as the second worst achievement ever, with the number one being the Turok achievement for kill one person, one dinosaur, and one teammate. During a multiplayer match, which just ruined that whole game. It just ruined. It literally made that game terrible.
It is in that window of time, though, when people did not understand how and what achievements are and what they should be and how they should work. Like, it was growing pains on all of those. I mean, again, the Avatar game, where it was like, do a 5-hit combo, do a 6-hit combo, 7, 8, 9, 10, 1,000 points, done, gamer score complete.
So, I think I've settled on what I want achievements to be. The achievements should be two things. One is a hint about some weird thing that you would not think to do. So it'll be shit like, do a jump off the top of this building, and then you go, you can get on that building?
Okay, yeah.
Right? And then the second one should be a silly little punchline that plays in the black screen of the loading screen after you beat a boss.
Right.
All chopped up for dinner.
Sure.
After you throw an enemy into the blender or some shit.
You know what? Those are the two good ones. Those are two good categories. I'm gonna throw a third in there, which is like a favorite of mine, which is something to the effect of beat Sagat as Ryu in HD remix with a Shoryuken.
Right.
You did it. You did the moment. You created the story moment.
I think that we can all agree that play the game in a way that makes you miserable is the worst achievement possible.
Yeah. So we'll see if they bring that back.
This will range the gamut from play the entire game without using the primary mechanic, bad, to play the game without firing a gun even once in Mirror's Edge, good.
I mean, there's Mirror's Edge, and then there's
it flip-flops,
and then there's Dot Eater, in Ikaruga, and then there's pacifist mode in Geometry Wars. Like, that's just incredible. Yeah.
Plasma Cutter in Dead Space. Right? Like, these are good things, but then you get a couple that are just like, make the game shitty for yourself and possibly others. Good one.
But what?
Oh God, what was that fucking?
What?
Somebody just said speed run the game under 2 hours. What was that fucking game that you tested?
Jumper.
Oh yeah.
Jumper. Beat the game in record time. What does record time mean? Shut up, don't tell them, otherwise they won't buy it.
What was record time, Wooly?
13 minutes.
How is that even possible?
Because it's a game about teleporting past barriers to the end of the stage.
But like, there's only one level?
No, but you can just teleport past everything in the game. It's a game about being a Nightcrawler style character that can teleport. So if you don't want to play it, you can just not play it.
Oh, that's great.
Jumper, starring Hayden Christensen. All right.
Good stuff.
All right, let's get a move on. So we got Dead Rising Deluxe Remaster. That says, September 19th. They announced a Kamen Rider Skull anime.
Cool.
Good fucking shit. That's rad. It was dope that they did a double one the other day. This one's in particular. That's my dude. That's my boy. So
everybody loves Kamen Rider.
Down to see some Skull Punisher rider kicks and all that cool Narumi shit. Count up your sins, yada yada. Yeah, it's interesting to as well to kind of be like, okay, you can do like anime spin-offs of existing rider stuff while continuing to shoot new live action series. Super dope. And somewhat in vein of this style of hat wearing detective, there's also a game that's been announced called Black Finger Jet, which is pretty cool. It takes about 5 seconds to oops, that's not the link. Okay, well,
that's just that you just sent me the time.
That's just text.
It's just the time.
It takes 2 seconds to see it in gameplay and see what they're doing there. If you enjoy some fucking Metal Slug, they're just doing Metal Slug.
I like Metal Slug.
Like there's a point where you look at your main character here, who looks like a cool Inspector Gadget / Cyborg 009 style.
It's just Metal Slug
character, and then he shoots a bunch of bullets, and then he gets a big H, and then the announcer goes, "Heavy machine gun," and you're like,
wow, that's just Metal Slug.
We're fucking Metal Slugging.
But it's got like the live what's it called, HD 2D thing going on.
Yeah, I mean, like this
looks good.
This can be this could take place in the world of Metal Slug. It's so.
Yeah, that's Metal Slug.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
Looks cool. We got a trailer for the Guilty Gear Strive anime, Dual Rulers, which shows off a new character. It wasn't a backyard cat boy after all. It was Unica is the new character's name. And
really?
Yeah, and she seems to really, really hate Gears.
I mean, there's a lot of really good reasons in that setting to hate Gears.
There are. In particular, it seems that she debuts.
Oh my god!
When so it's, the trailer follows Sol and Sin as your pro tags, but yeah, Kai and Dizzy are finally getting married.
Oh, good.
And apparently, Unica has some thoughts and words about that, and gets very upset, and starts a big hubbub.
Is this using the models?
I think it is, but I think they're like modified for like a different animation engine. Because
okay, so the reason I say that is because in this trailer, there's a shot of like Sin and Sol in like a forest, and like they look hilariously wide.
Yeah,
like they look
yeah.
they look deformed. They were never supposed to be seen straight on.
I mean, you get a good look at them in the story mode from those angles as well, but like I think it's they took those models and yeah, they're just
that's really funny.
Yeah, I think Kai and Dizzy, I think they were married, but they just never had an actual big like wedding or so, and I think they just
not a big to do.
Yes, and so I think this is supposed to be about that, and then Unica jumps out and starts swinging this big weapon around, which unfolds and unlocks and looks interesting because she's holding this blade thing, and it looks like an outrage. It looks kind of like it has a similar design element to like it has like it could be like the flashing fang or so. It could be a junkyard dog like variant, but it has the colors of justice.
Yeah, I got you. Yeah.
So who the fuck knows?
So the potential for this character to be a DLC in Strive is 100%, right?
Extraordinarily high. Considering that they also announced a new season of content, a new season of characters coming to the game, like through the fucking moon.
Yeah, okay.
It's the question is Unica and who else, right?
Yeah, the question is when, not if.
I mean,
yeah.
Holy fuck. Yeah. So we'll see. We'll see how that goes. Speaking of story trailers, we got a look at the story trailer for Metaphor as well, and
main character fucking talks.
Yeah, so that's the thing, right? You're looking at your little blue-haired character Minato, you know.
Not Minato.
Not Minato. But
young man.
But the yeah. But the not only are they talking, like the setting and everything is very like oh, because of the setting change, I mean the Persona elements are still exploding everywhere, but the plot in its fantasy setting and the fact that these characters are going to do things that are probably unrelated to high school and are more about the kingdom and the throne and such means that like Persona is just a flavor, you know? So
do you think they're gonna do Metaphor ReFantazio? I can't say the name, I'm sorry. The Redux in 2 years, and God. They'll be like, you were stupid for playing it the first time? Because I feel like they're not actually going to do that this time because of Persona 3.
So the
Persona 3 is just adding the answer just onto it
as an update.
Yeah.
Huh. I would assume that it's coming. The problem is that the name ReFantazio sounds like this is the re-release.
Yeah.
You know, it ReFantazio sounds like.
Did they actually say they were gonna stop doing that? Like, come out and talk about it? I did not know that.
Really? Because I having just done the SMT5
apparently
thing.
SMT5 was like the last time. And for most people, SMT5 was like the first release of that game.
Well, that's nice to know.
Because like, I think they've hit like the capacity of the general audience for that.
Okay.
Because like, I think like Royal was like a lot of people's like real just like, okay, so the rule is that you're allowed to do the re-release with new shit if the original was on a console nobody cared about. He's right. He's super right.
That's the rule.
It's a good rule. He's not wrong. Like if Persona 5 only came out on PS3, no one would have batted an eyelash at the Royal. No one batted an eyelash at the Golden coming out.
It's going elsewhere. Yeah. But beyond that, I mean, I cannot wait to go through that HUD screen by screen and just fucking
straight jork it.
Just jork a little bit. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. All right. They
It's also like really nice to know that like, you know, with Vengeance, it's like, no, Atlas does have a brain. They will port after Royal and Vengeance, like, oh, they are going to port everything everywhere eventually. So if you see an Atlas game on a platform that you don't have and you're sad about it, wait until me and Wooly get sponsored to tell you about the new version later.
God. I mean, I can't, like, I remember years ago, like, this segment being, why do you hate money, Atlas? Why do you hate money?
Yeah, now they're paying us to tell you that we're right.
We eventually got there.
All right, now Vanillaware. Come on, guys.
Speaking of jorking it, a lot of Sonic fans have a lot to jork about with the new Sonic X Shadow Generations. Everyone's getting excited.
Yeah.
But with that comes the new anime and the new game, which has big old fucking over the top action sequence and cool Shadow doing cool kicks. But more important than any other announcement is the reveal of the Shadow the Hedgehog timeline.
Oh my god.
Did you see the timeline?
I did not.
They showed off the there's a presentation, and in the presentation they showed you every game where the character existed.
Oh, you have it? Oh, good.
There you go. And as you can see, absolutely nothing happened between 2005 and 2018.
Dude, he's in that game. Dude, that's hilarious.
Absolutely nothing happened.
Sonic 06 has been DMC2'd.
Officially removed from the timeline.
So Sonic never made it with a human girl?
It never happened, bro.
Oh.
So, yeah, you know, there you go. That's it.
Well, that's wild. Hey, can I ask you, and by extension the live audience, a question about Shadow the Hedgehog? I've never actually played a game that featured him. He's got rocket boots, right?
He's got the rocket skates.
Does he not run as fast if he does not have those?
I believe he is slower than Sonic regardless. Yes. I think he is fast, but he cannot keep up with Sonic in terms of just raw speed. But he has chaos control.
That kind of seemed like he sucks. Because he's got to use robot feet to do what Sonic can naturally do.
Yeah, well, tell that to his gun.
I will? His fake MP5 that he cocks?
Well, there's that one. But there's also the Desert Ease. Yeah, and then he can also go super Shadow, you know, like as well.
Yeah, Sonic can do that.
Yeah. Anyway,
All caps. Remember the inhibitor rings. I don't think I ever knew the inhibitor rings. I don't know what the fuck you're talking about.
It makes them move differently when they're racing alongside each other, but you can't.
I feel like Shadow the Hedgehog had to have appeared to me at a vitally specific time, and since that time passed, I cannot open my heart to him now. Like Jesus.
He wants you to.
Like I miss the part of my life where Jesus could show up and I'd be like, hey, what's up? I feel like I missed that for Shadow.
I mean, again, all you need to know is that he can be everything. He can be all of it. He's all that he is.
Is that a song? Are you quoting a song at me?
It's Sonic the Hedgehog. Of course I'm quoting a song at you.
Well, did you see that interview where Sega admitted that people making fun of the lyrics in their songs was why they stopped putting vocal tracks into Sonic games?
No.
Yeah.
But that's not true because one of the
viewers would complain about the soundtrack, and so they were like, "Oh, Americans don't like the soundtrack, so we'll stop putting vocal themes in." But they were wrong.
That's completely untrue because in Sonic Frontiers, at the fucking peak hype boss fight in the first thing, lyrics kick in and it's rad as shit. The Frontiers song is so cool. Like, absolutely not. What are we talking about? Nah. I do know that, like, I've heard there have been many a live performance with Crush 40 kind of, like, stopping early and dying a little bit and walking off stage and things like that. I don't know what the full deal is, but no, the lyrics are there, and according to at least Frontiers, they're fucking hyper than ever. I'm hanging on to the other side. It's so good, dude. It's so sick. Anyways, yeah, no, there we go. We got our timeline update.
That's great.
And I think that if if Shadow were able to run at Sonic speeds with like at this without the shoes and stuff, then that would invalidate Sonic's coolness too much. So he needs to Sonic needs to always be the
fully on
coolest.
Team Sonic over here.
He has to always be the coolest.
Though I will say that Shadow's story about constantly breaking his bones every second for 10,000 years in time prison is something that has made me laugh so hard I have vomited. So Shadow does get a point for that.
I didn't watch it, but I heard that when the audience watching the anime clip of the from this presentation, they popped off and cheered when
Maria got shot.
When Maria got shot.
Yeah.
like when you can't do that to a room full of people, man.
I like how
a different outcome.
That, and I look over and people are like, "What the fuck is he talking about?" Type in Shadow the Hedgehog time prison to learn the lore, idiots. Come on.
All right. Speaking of learning the lore, you watched that Not Like Us video or what?
I sure did.
Okay. I mean, can we just...
That's cold. That's a really cold... Because people were like, it's winding down.
Yo, like, the hopscotch bit? Come on.
Yeah, the hopscotch bit is there's a lot there.
See, walking the hopscotch onto the 10th fucking block because there's 10 steps? What are we doing?
Because like Drake's accusations were, 1, Dave Free is the father of your children, and 2, you beat your wife. So let's have a sequence in which I'm hanging out with my totally happy and normal looking family, dancing and having a good time.
Sea walking all over it, Whitney.
but like that bit is like, hey, you know what's really nice? Having a family and like loving your kids instead of whatever you got going on over here.
Directed by Dave Free. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. And then you can get into the...
Oh, she's wearing a wife beater. I didn't even catch that. Oh, that's really good.
Every I mean, you can go down the full analysis, the full layers of it, but you know, for what it's worth, I mean, all you need to know is again, fully leaning into the rapping like you're trying to free the slaves bit. The first thing you see in Compton at the city hall is the MLK monument, which
on 4th of July,
which is what the whole crowd is singing along to from the angle there. You know,
apparently there's a basketball player that's Drake's favorite player in that music video.
So he's from Compton, and he played for the Toronto Raptors. Right?
You know,
I
don't know if I said this just to Paige or on stream or here. I don't know, but I want to say it again, which is, so the crux that everybody's liking to like really jump on is, hey, Drake touches kids. Hilarious, incendiary. He's clearly a creep. But what seems to be like has even more juice behind it is the amount of work of assembling this enormous amount of people going, no one likes you, get out of here.
I mean,
like, it's like bringing in the whole high school to do a song and dance about how you should go home and kill yourself.
I mean, and again, and the fuck you continues, not just from the monument and all that, the shipping containers, which are all painted white as they're packaged to be exported, and the contents are black people, but we paint it white and ship that out. Right? And then, of course, just the ultimate, like, the owl in the fucking cage. Your career is forever. That's it. He's got you. It's done. Like, it doesn't matter. Whatever the fuck happens after this, you're caged, bro. Like, he's doing push-ups in the jail, right? During that first verse on the cinder blocks, right? Like, I mean, it's the fact that we're at a... So, no, I was just going to say, like, Hit 'Em Up had a music video. You know, it's not the first time that this has happened. But, like, but the fact that, again, like, I don't know, like, going beyond the orbital strike, like, we keep this going, and it feels between the 10 fucking, like, it feels like there's a bit of, like, bro, I dare you to open your mouth for a second. Like, I really want you to, between this concert, between...
He does 17 push-ups. Oh man.
Specifically?
Yeah.
What's the significance?
He can't make it to 18.
Oh! Oh! God damn it, dude.
You know,
Fuck.
I feel like, and I'm not saying anyone should do this because what I'm about to say is wrong, but I feel like the only way out of this is to initiate gun violence. I think we're here. I think there is no recourse other than attempted murder.
I think at this point you just have to look at, he's looking at the money, and he's just trying to figure out how to get it into places where it can't. I don't know. I don't know what you do, right? Maybe you do another Wagwan Delilah. Maybe you just kind of.
Oh my God.
Maybe you just slowly turn yourself back into the clown, you know, put the makeup back on, you know, and then just kind of ease your way back into touring and doing some dance, get a new dance going, a new dance for the summer, you know. I don't know. There's going to be a silence break moment for real at some point.
What if he challenged like Kendrick to a duel?
Just for real.
Like,
just
showed
actually
up and hit him with a glove, you know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Again, Kendrick is from Compton.
Yeah.
What the fuck are we talking about, man?
I know.
We can't go down this road. Like, the whole point of getting all those people on stage was so that they would be on stage there in peace and not out there doing heinous shit. So, you know, anyways, when you light a fire under the dude and inspire him to do the concert, to do the video, to just keep this thing fucking rolling.
Also, we move away from it. I gotta say that bit with Kendrick not paying attention and a scary man showing up only to be yanked off screen by God or whatever is a great visual.
Right. Yeah. We will see if the OVO tour will go to Oakland. You know, we will find out.
I want to see clips of Drake's next live performance so bad. I expect it to be a mess.
I mean, like, even at the level of, like, okay, let's just go on with the show, play all the hits, right? Get people to come out and dance to the club hits and stuff. Like I feel as if his entire MO with, like, oh, who's gonna come back to the VIP? What groupies are gonna roll through? Like, you can't trust anybody.
No, you can't. No,
you don't know what's going on from this point forward. You don't know what's going on, man. Everything can be an operation, dude.
Why is that real? I just scrolled past a photo of Drake in full-on blackface.
Oh, come on, Pat. Now, did we miss the story?
Is that real?
Did we miss the story of Adidon? Did we not? Okay, so the kill shot of the prior to use that term of his last beef was the picture of him in blackface and the reveal of his child existing, right? Yes, it's insane.
Yeah, see this. That looks, like, I'm not gonna tell
that
black guy whether or not he can do blackface, but this picture is awful.
I mean, the white half at the very least. You can talk to the white half, I guess. Yeah. No, the last time this whole thing blew up, the end of it, his beef with Pusha T, was the song that revealed his child existing because he was ashamed of his child because the mother was a stripper. And this picture of him in fucking blackface posing like a clown, and it was like everyone was like, what?
Where did this come from?
Everyone's like, what the fuck is this? And it's just weird, and like it's just weird actor shit from like pre-Degrassi Toronto stuff. I don't know, but it's super weird. And that
I'm not clicking off because it's still there, but I don't want to look at it. I don't know. It's not great.
That's what happened last time.
Because he's got the lips on.
Mm-hmm.
That's what's.
And look, and so he waited, right? And then eventually, he started doing music and popping out again, and then he put some photos of him with his kid, and he's like, "Hey, look, I'm being a dad, and here's my son. See, like there he is. I'm proud of him." You know when you talk to people and they don't have kids, and people go, "You wouldn't understand. You don't have kids." And like, I'll tell you right now, that's actually like massively full of shit in like 99% of cases. Like, remember people were like, "Don't judge because you don't have kids." Mm-hmm.
I was that person who was judging, and now I have kids. Now judge away. You probably would feel the same. But the emotions you can have are stronger. I can't imagine not being like proud of your baby. Like it's so repulsive. The idea of like hiding your children or like being like whatever. Yeah. Like it's disgusting.
No, and that's the thing is like there's a level of especially at superstar global status, there's a level of privacy that you're entitled to where he could certainly have a kid and be like, yeah, this is not meant to be a public thing. I don't want people to know about like the kid's name or face or any of that shit, right? You can definitely do that if you choose to be private about that, but denying and pretending they don't exist so that you continue to have this bachelor life image,
it's disgusting,
is a completely separate thing. That's not why, but that's how he played it off afterwards. It's just like, oh yeah, well, it was private and now here we are, here's a photo of him and we're in public together now. It was just completely just shame.
Someone in the chat said, Pat, you hide your baby though. Yeah, for his privacy, but I'm not sitting here pretending that I don't have a baby. The kid does not exist.
I am in the process of explaining the difference between not showing the baby's face or giving the name out and denying its existence entirely.
He hid the baby and then he showed the baby.
He showed the baby after the exposure occurred. You
can't have it both ways.
No.
Showing the baby now is proof you were hiding the baby earlier.
If he was not hiding the baby earlier and then the accusation came out and then his response was, yes, but I'm not showing his face, and then continued that, then there would be a bullshit detector going off, but he's doing the thing. But he made the child public after the fact once the disc dropped.
Look, I'm a good dad. Look, it's a prop. It's disgusting.
If you can't see the difference, I don't know.
That kid has been set up to be so fucked on, man. The fact that we're talking about this stupid family drama on this video game podcast because of the way Drake acted is awful.
And at some point, he's going to listen to the song.
Oh, man. Like, how old's that kid? Like 4 or 5? Like, you probably already listened to it. The kids have them iPods nowadays.
Yeah, I mean, they're getting to get in there. Like fucking Northwest is rapping. Yeah, they get in there sooner than you think, man. All right. Anyways, yeah, there you go.
Unless Drake like bans rap music in the house or something.
Well, you see, in the house implies that he's raising the child.
Oh yeah,
in
my mistake.
In the house.
My mistake.
Like, and not exported to France and over there.
Gross.
Yeah. All right.
You should take care of your kids. There's Pat's hot take of the day. What is this? What the hell is going on?
Nothing.
Okay.
Just. Yeah. Just leaving it alone. Hey, you see the new Bleach game?
No. I did not.
It's an arena fighter, and there's no reason to care. It looks very pretty.
Okay.
Now.
It's way meaner than just not mentioning it at all. What's the name of the Bleach game?
Rebirth of Souls.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, that's what it's called. When you see pretty anime things looking good, then it's like, that's cool. And then the camera kind of goes to the third person, and then you're like, it's gonna be, it's there. Don't even, yeah. It sucks because it's like, I feel as if the Net Impact, it's like, hey, they're giving a shot at a real thing that might, they're giving a shot at a real fighter here, and I feel like arena fighters, unfortunately, they don't have to be this way, but they are just released as these disposable things that you're not meant to give a fuck about a week after you pick them up.
Yeah, well, not everybody could be DBZ, Budokai, Sparking, Tenkaichi Zero.
Or My Hero One's Justice. Or Kill la Kill.
No, those were those games. Dragon Ball kind of gets past, though, because it has 400 million characters.
Yeah,
yeah. All right, we got to read one email and get out of here.
All right.
Because I got to go.
True. All right. Okay. Dear Panda Express and Starbucks, Bury the Light from DMC is still getting played on YouTube. Virgil dropped years ago, but you still have music producers doing react videos going, I have no idea what Devil May Cry is, but this song is insane. Do you have a favorite piece of property that escaped containment and accelerated to mainstream success? From Julian.
I'm a big fan of Jonathan Young doing covers of JoJo songs in English and going, I don't know what JoJo is.
Those are great.
These songs are good, though.
Very fun. You did the Attack on Titan themes as well. And yeah, I mean, I think breaching containment and reaching the public at large outside of the context of Guilty Gear is great. That's huge and very good for the game. Now, just do what I said earlier and give us some other figures, please.
I would like to nominate an interview from 2 or 3 months ago. I don't remember the name of the interviewer, apologies, but he was interviewing Mike Tyson. He was like, hey, Mike, have you ever seen this character Balrog? And Mike goes, no. He does Mike Tyson voice and doesn't know what he is. And it's discovered that Mike Tyson did not know about Balrog and Mike Tyson until last month.
But Capcom was still so afraid nonetheless.
Capcom won, but they were right, though. They totally snuck it under his nose.
But it was all just preemptive fear of what might happen.
Yeah, and he made a joke about he gotta call his lawyer about this.
And now in story mode, you got Vega being like, some call me Vega, some call me Balrog.
We would switch our names around all the time because of crime.
None of it matters because neither of them is my real name.
And it's like, oh, that's great, actually.
Solid. Okay, that'll do.
All right, y'all have a good night or day or week, whatever the fuck.
Bye-bye.
Stay safe. Bye.